What's up, chat? How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the stream. It's Friday. We're getting practical today. We are back here for our part 2 of leaked codexes from the Chaos Superfaction, I guess, is what we're doing today. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going, everyone? Jean-Marc in chat, how's it going? Kyle Wells in here just in time, hell yeah. Seizure James, despair about what we got to deal with. Yeah, I've heard. I have not had a chance to go through this entire thing myself. I've heard that people are a little up in arms about the potential disparity in power level between these two factions. We'll see how things actually shake out. Those are the two factions being World Eaters and Death Guard, obviously. This feels a little bit like a Grey Knights and a Thousand Suns situation from last edition, where everyone was like up in arms about how powerful Thousand Suns were, and they saw no competitive play, and Grey Knights were like insane. I do think that I don't know. World Eaters seemed totally fine, like a totally serviceable army. Nothing it stood out as being like super broken, but it did seem like they had a lot going on. Obviously, we'll have to see how points work out. I do think that they did a pretty good job with the Emperor's Children points. That Codex could have been an absolute dumpster fire if they hadn't pointed things appropriately. And I think it came out really nicely. So I am gonna choose to believe that we are looking at a pretty interesting World Eaters faction. But obviously, we're here to talk about Death Guard today, and I think it's excited to talk about it. The whining of the World Eaters corner. Yeah, I have seen a lot of people be like, "Oh, I can't like unga bunga my whole army and my opponent's army on turn 1." I'm like, well, yeah, that's probably for the best, actually. I think that's maybe okay. It speaks to we had this discussion previously when Goremongers first got announced, and I was like, this is kind of insane that they defeated the primary counterplay to World Eaters, and it turns out it makes a lot of sense because they removed the scout sort of aspect of the faction. And you're playing much more of an attritional sort of like skirmish game plan, and I think that's interesting. We'll see how that does for old Death Guard. Bryce working on adding them to List Forge. Hell yeah, dude. Let's go. Will I be signing Get Good's petition to stop the World Eaters release? I will not. No, that's fine. That's okay. Thank you, but no thank you. I think the Codex is cool. I like that you can shoot guns at people now. I think it's totally fine. I do think that is a extremely funny petition, though. All right. Should we get into this whole thing? So some of this stuff we already know about. Bam. Nurgle's Gift. We'll run through it super duper fast. If your army is Death Guard, you get Contagion. Contagion now afflicts you. While you are afflicted, you get -1 toughness, and you get whatever other benefit you've chosen at the start of the declare battle formation step. So at the start of each game, essentially when you declare reserves and transports is when that occurs. So you get to choose either enemies get -1 to hit while they're afflicted, enemies get -1 to save while they're afflicted, or they get -1 leadership and objective control characteristic. Pretty normal stuff. Battle round 1, you start at a 3-inch contagion. It moves to 6 on battle round 2 and 9 on battle round 3 and onwards. And there's a bunch of ways to increase your contagion aura over the course as well. Ryan G, thank you for the super chat. I don't know where my super chat went. It worked yesterday. The vagaries of YouTube is fucked. Let me just do a little test. I don't know how it worked literally like less than 12 hours ago. Or just about 12 hours ago, and now it's broken. Apparently I can't log in. Great. That's awesome. I love that for me. Oh, fuck off. Well, that might be the problem, chat. I apparently can't log into my Streamlabs. Might just be dead? Oh, no, there it goes. Does it work? Sorry, chat. I don't know why this isn't working. Well, that worked.
Kevin donated $83 through Super Chat. This is a test Super Chat message.
Alright, well, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know what happened there, champ. I am confused. Maybe it is a problem with the source. Alright, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on it, but hopefully it will fix itself. Anyway. Ryan is asking, we go through datasheets first. Datasheets are more impressive than the detachments, and every single datasheet interacts differently with the detachments. Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It feels like we'll be missing context, but if we really, really want to. Never seen a Death Guard player? Really? That's fascinating. I feel like, probably because they were, did I mess up my ordering here, chat? I think I might have. Uh-oh. I did. Fuck. One sec. Alright, well, good enough. I think because they were in the 7th edition starter set, there's like I don't know, there seems like a lot of random people who play them, and I feel like they are relatively common, almost like across the board. I don't know. It feels to me like how it goes. Like I feel like every tournament I go to is like 1 or 2 random Death Guard players, which is always like kind of just sitting there and I don't know, feasting on detritus of the metagame or something. They've just been solid for so long. Yeah, after they got the rewrite for 10th edition, they definitely, I think, were much, 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 much better than... at the start of the edition, obviously, they were, like, horribly bad. They were just, like, super non-functional. But they've been just really good over, like, just very consistent over 10th edition. And I think a lot of players have been, like, become very good with them, right? Like, the positional game. All right, so I guess we're starting with... thanks to Hippie Hunter, we'll start with datasheets. Here's Mortarion. So... I'll start by saying I really don't like this Mortarion design archetype. Maybe I'm I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about or whatever. But it feels like the part of the color pie that Nurgle wants to exist in is the like slow and tanky one. And this is an Eldar model. We made an Eldar model. For Death Guard. It has like a ton of like reactive abilities and sort of responsive stuff. I guess the idea that he comes in and he just like sits there and then like baits you into doing stuff is interesting, but he's an Eldar guy. Like I don't understand. We've got reactive moves and shit. Like I don't know. So its top line profile is relatively similar. Move 10, toughness 12, 2 plus 4 plus 16 wounds, 5 plus Fiddle Pain, Deep Strike. Now, obviously, post the that was like last June or something update. His weapons got a little bit of an upgrade. He went up from 4 to D6 plus 1 damage, which is kind of like a side grade on his damage profile. And he got a 2 damage sweep as well. I think the Lantern went up a pip of strength too. His psychic power has the funny anti-synergy of both devastating wounds and lethal hits, so sometimes you just like accidentally don't get your devastating wounds, which is a little silly. It's also not ignore cover, so it's like it's fine. It's an okay gun. The biggest thing with him is that once per turn he can choose a Lord of the Death Guard ability. So this is once per turn. He does not have to pre-declare which one he's doing, and he can use one both on his turn and his opponent's turn, which is pretty good. These are, and these are all triggered abilities. So you have a selection of triggered abilities. You can use one of each of the turns of the game. I think the most dramatic one is Diseased Influence, which gives you a 5-inch reactive move on any Death Guard unit within 6 inches of this guy. This is also just going to be on him too. All of these can just affect Mortarion himself. It doesn't say other Death Guard model. Or other Death Guard unit, it just says a Death Guard unit within 6 inches. So he's just got a reactive move baked in, which is like, it's only 5 inches in fairness. It doesn't move super far, but that's better than squad tactics from Gladius Task Force. Eat your heart out, Gilliman. You can't use reactive moves. Get wrecked. Mortarion, though, he doesn't give a shit. Which feels uncharacteristically agile. I don't know. It's a weird vibe. The other ones are a little bit more straightforward. Boon of Death gives you a 2+ fight on death on a friendly Death Guard unit within 6. This one's kind of cool because it works in either fight phase. Obviously, the Disease to Influence one is like pretty good in terms of like it's good on your opponent's turn, and you can use it on your turn. Theoretically, if they have reactive moves, you can follow them, which gives Death Guard really good counterplay against reactive moves, and maybe that's actually like part of the impetus, part of the intention. But this the Boon of Death being active in any fight phase allows you to like allows you to commit to protracted engagements for much more reliably, because you can charge your opponent. If you don't kill them, they'll get to attack you first on your turn, but it doesn't matter. You're going to fight on death, which I think that does make sense, right? And that does follow the spam calls all. That follows the design ethos. Inflamed Reprisal in your opponent's shooting phase. When a Death Guardian within 6 is selected as the target of an attack, you can use the ability. If you do, after the attack unit is finished making its attacks, Death Guardian can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but could only target that enemy unit. So you have a reactive shot. You have to just be selected as the target. You don't necessarily have to be damaged or lose any models or even hit. So it's a little bit easier to trigger than a lot of the other reactive attacks in the game. But obviously, it's like kind of on board, right? Like it's your opponent has to sort of intentionally trigger it. Now, another important thing to note, I think, is that all of these affect any unit, right? We talked about them affecting Mortarion, but they could also just affect like battle tanks and stuff. So you can get these reactive attacks on like Plagueburst crawlers and dudes with flamethrowers and shit, which is a little spicy. That's a little freaking scary. The sweep is better against 3 wound models. Well, his previous sweep was he only had a 1 damage sweep previously, right? I mean, it's just having 2 damage is better. I mean, it's better against almost everyone's characteristic. Being 2 damage versus 1 damage. The only thing it's not better against is 1 wound models with no field of pain, I guess. But like, I think Mortarion's killing those guys anyway. Yeah, it used to be 15 attacks, 7/1/1. Now it's 7. Now it's 8/2/2, which is much better. And he just side graded his melee. Oh, he got devastating on his strike attack actually. So that's an interesting thing. Also gets sustained hits, which is neat. Is that it feels like all of the big overhand like strike profiles on these big huge demon characters have almost across the board gotten devastating wounds, right? Because Angron also got devastating. Is that the case? I know that Be'lakor got devastating. I'm gonna fact check myself on Angron, even though I've just talked about him. I've already forgotten what he does. Yeah, he also got devastating on all his attacks. In fact, that's an interesting like direction for that to go in. I guess it just helps them fight invulnerable saves a little bit better. But I don't know. It's kind of cool. I guess that's neat. They basically the 3 most recently released demon like Primarch characters, faction leaders, all got devastating wounds in there. Wild. He can't fire his pistol and his Rotwind together. Why not? I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, Angron's melee profile is like really sad looking for sure. So yeah, I am interested in this reactive move effect. I think the idea is that like what you want to do is like put him next to a bunch of Terminators and just like hover them around and be like annoying to deal with, which is what all these abilities do essentially. But it is like it does feel weirdly off-brand for Death Guard. but I don't know. If you shoot pistols, you don't shoot other weapons. Yeah, unless you're monster or vehicle keyworded. Monsters and vehicles don't care about that. It's only infantry can choose only one or the other. Typhus, old Typhus. Typhus looks like he's got a little bit of a glow up here. T7, 6 wounds. He is -1 to be hit in melee. He can do his mortal wound thing. It's unchanged. That's wild. That would be one ability that I would have earmarked. I would have said, if there's one ability in this entire faction that's going to change, it's Typhus's nuke. Nah, dude. He keeps it. All right, well, I'll go fuck myself, I guess. Yeah, 18 inches invisible. I believe it has, in fact, lost its lone operative call-out, but I think that's probably going to be changed. I imagine that it'll get added back in the balanced data slate almost instantaneously. He also got an additional melee attack and 2 additional melee attacks on his sweep profile, which is a lot. So the profiles are the same except for additional attacks, which is, I guess, a little bit of a through line as well. And we talked about this yesterday, where the start of 10th edition, they were really, really reticent to give people good melee profiles, and I think they've really come around on that and been like, hey guys, if my expensive character gets into your unit, it should fuck it up probably. If I've spent all the time and energy to get this dude to fight you, let's give him some attacks. So I appreciate melee stuff getting a little bit more lethal, but otherwise, no pun intended, yeah, because he's lethal hits. Otherwise, Typhus looks like he's identical. The Demon Prince of Nurgle. Does he just have the World Eater's Demon Prince ability? Okay. Alrighty then. So he has the 3-inch lone operative thing. He's toughness 12. He's 2 higher toughness than a regular Foot Demon Prince. So he's pretty difficult to kill. He gets lethal hits and 7 attacks. So all these Demon Princes hit harder than the Emperor's Children one, but they are slower. Once per battle round, you can target a Death Guard thing with a strat, reduce the CP cost of the strat by 1. And while within 6 inches, each time a ranged attack targets any Death Guard unit, you gain the benefit of cover. This guy is a windmill slam. Holy shit. Okay. I think generally speaking, the play pattern of the factions is going to be kind of mid-board and in the open. That's kind of an interesting part about Death Guard, is that their save characteristics, at least in the index, have been pretty good. But oftentimes they don't benefit from cover because they have to be out basically right in front of you to attack you. And giving them access to permanent cover is huge. This guy seems extremely, extremely good. Also, his gun got lethal hits too. Hot damn. What a guy. Yeah, T12 is a big breakpoint too, for sure. It says modify save characteristics by 1. Does that mean invulnerable and feel no pains are pushed back? No, those are not save characteristics. Save characteristic is the little characteristic that says save. Yeah, this guy seems great. Have they finally found a way to make Foot Demon Princes actually playable and not just an actual joke of a datasheet? It was just to give them 5 free CP. That's when you take one. And lone operative. You just have to make them lone operatives that give you 1 trillion extra command points. Yeah, all right, we found a way. All right, new boy, the Lord of Poxes. We talked about this guy previously on our stream earlier. I don't know if we need to say much about him. He increases his contagion range by 3, and he gives you a lone operative effect that, and I have a sneaking suspicion won't matter. And then he's also pretty good in melee. He is a devastating power fist, basically, with 6 attacks, which is pretty nice. Does cover make invuln saves better? No. Of course not. Lord of Contagion. So this is melee friendo. Used to give you hit rerolls in melee. Doesn't do that now. Oh, okay. So he is 5 attacks, 9 to 3 damage, or a sweep. So he's exactly Typhus with 1 or 2 less attacks. Same top line profile as well. However, he gives you sustained 1 in Lance and regenerates himself. What a Chad. This guy is great. Sustained 1 and Lance. Okay. All right. Twist my arm, why don't you? What? Oh, not just Lance? Oh, also sustained 1? Okay. It is only melee weapon, so you don't get it on your bolters if you're attaching him to Blightlord Terminators, but this dude's a Deathshroud Terminator's wet dream, right? Wow. Okay. What a... I guess, interestingly, his regeneration is exclusive. So if you take 3 Lords of Contagion, you can kill them all in 1 round and they don't come back. That's bizarre. Have there ever been regenerative like abilities like this? I guess every other regenerator guy is either an enhancement or an epic hero, right? Are there any non-epic hero regenerators in the entire game? I'm actually not sure that there are. At least I can't think of any off the top of my head. Oh, it's Gene Stealer cults, I guess. The Abominants, probably. But the Abominant doesn't have that clause. And the Abominant comes back at full wounds. That's wild. What? Huh. The Custodes Terminator? Does the Shield Captain come back? He has the -1 damage thing, right? Or the reduced to 1? Does he also respawn himself? No. I don't think that well. Oh yeah, the Venerable Dreadnoughts. Maybe I wonder if. Yeah, so that's a good call out. We found 2 of them. I wonder, chat, if these guys might get that treatment. I think this might be a counterplay to the mass regenerator meta. Because we are seeing multiple Abominants in Biosanctic Brood Surge, and obviously every single Solar Spearhead gets 3 Venerable Contemptors. I don't know if I would be shocked to see that ability change in the next balance data slate if this is their new templating. Or they could just awkwardly be slightly different versions of the same rule, and we're back to playing regular Warhammer 40,000 and making myself sad. That's very weird. I don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I'm just biased towards characters, but that feels like a lot. I don't know. Nurgly Demon Prince with Wingoos. Looks like same profiles as the Foot Demon Prince. T11 though. That's nice. Yeah, 2 higher toughness than the other Demon Princes. He has a horrifying visage. You take a battle shock test at -1 when he ends a charge move and engagement. Okay. All right. When an enemy unit is within 6 inches of him and sick to fall back, take a desperate escape check. Yeah, this guy's whatever. Whatever, dude. I guess, like, there's not even synergy between his charge ability and the desperate escape thing. Because he charges you and then forces you to take battle shock, and then you battle shock, and then you clear it. And then you don't even have to take... You don't get the -1 for desperate escape. Man... Fight phase battle shock abilities are, I don't want to say they're not relevant because they occasionally are, but it's just like, it's like such a nothing burger of a rule. It might work, who knows, and if it does, it will affect them for like one second of game time. I don't know, man. It would be cool if this was like start of any phase or something, like enemies within 6 inches must take a battle shock test. That'd be kind of neat. I don't know. Lord of Virulence gives wound rerolls in with ranged attacks, and I believe that the Blightlord Terminators do have baked in additional strength and AP, right, when they shoot Contagion and stuff. So we might be able to make actual Terminator PP units. He's got Power Fist. He's got a Plague Spewer, which looks like is the same. And at the start of your shooting phase, select one enemy unit within 30 inches of and visible to this model. Until the end of the phase, Each time a Death Guard model makes a ranged attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. Oh, okay. And you get full hit rerolls against with blast weapons as well. So previously that was ignore cover and +1 to hit with blast weapons, but I believe that the range was unlimited. Not that it really mattered. You'd never really like targeted longer than maybe 30 inches on a really, really good day. Lord of Virulence was +1 to hit and ignore cover with blast weapons. Oh, and it was also every single enemy unit. You didn't have to choose one. So significantly, it's a more powerful effect, but it's more targeted and harder to use. So that seems good. I guess the question is what blast weapons we have. I guess a lot of their blast weapons are lethal, so reroll hit rolls is really good. Malignant Plaguecaster. When you attack targeting an afflicted enemy, you gain sustained hits 1. Any attack, so shooting and melee. Although, all right, so immediate like anti-synergy, he has a torrent. His torrent is incredible though. Strength 6 AP2 D3 damage. Oh, not ignore cover. But that is really funny. He gives you sustained hits and then doesn't benefit himself. Get wrecked. And then after he is shot, select an infantry unit hit, and it gives you -2 move. Okay. He can attach to Poxwalkers. Is that new? Is that a new thing? Is it? Not that I don't. I think you're particularly excited about attaching this to the Poxwalkers. It definitely gives him more use case. He lost entirely his little friend. Oh no, the little friend was the Terminator guy, right? So previously, he would give people -1 to wound you, and then you would get -2 move, advance, and charge, and he could only attach to Plague Marines. So he is just a different unit now. He seems significantly worse on a level. His gun is the same. So you might just play him for his gun, to be honest. If he's relatively cheap, because in the previous version he was 65 points. So if he's relatively cheap, and now he's toughness 6, so he's kind of sticky to deal with, you just play these guys to shoot people. I don't know. It seems totally fine. Noxious Blightbringer. This is Bell Guy, who I didn't recognize before because I had no idea who this dude was. He is, oh, cool. Anti-Psyker 2+, Strength 4, AP 0, 2 damage, lethal. What a weird fucking profile, dude. Okay. He hits you with the bell? All right. It's on his back, though. Does he take it off? Like, bonk. Or is it like he rings the bell and you're like, ooh, I don't like that. It's strange that, and I understand it from a lore perspective, because Mortarion, I guess, is like an anti-Psyker guy. He doesn't like Psyker people, but it's strange that Death Guard get a sub theme of being anti-Psyker. That's been classically a piece of Death Guard's design, and it not World Eaters, which feels like a miss. I don't know. I don't really understand it, to be honest. Beyond like the fact that Mortarion like had a run-in with an evil sorcerer one time, and I guess like had carried a chip on his shoulder about it. But it's, I don't know. It's a little bit weird because Death Guard used so many Psykers. Like we've seen like so many Psykers spammed. Like Mortarion himself is a Psyker. I don't know. This is weird. He gives you +1 move and reroll advance and charges. That's totally fine. The battle shock stuff of your opponent's command phase. If a unit is below starting strength with a 9, They must take a battle shock test, subtracting one of their psychic units. So it's like the Death Sleeper's ability. Yeah, whatever. Whatever, Noxious Blightbringer. We don't need your +1 movement. We're just gonna bring a Rhino. Foul Blightspawn. One Foul Blightspawn. He has fight first. In the fight phase, you can select one model from your army with this ability. To use the ability, if you do until the end of the phase, that model's unit has fights first. You can each model can only be selected once per battle, and you cannot start or end an advance move within 9. That is a good ability. Ooh, he is a big spore mine. Damn, that's huge actually. Especially if you're like an advance and charging faction, you can't advance and charge into him. You can't advance onto his objective to steal it from him. You can't advance away from him. That's actually super powerful. You might even just play these dudes. Also, it's funny because their blinding spray is not a leadership ability, so you could just play them and they can randomly punch you with their little tiny close combat weapon. Not even lethal hits, they just bonk you. Bonk. Once per game, they get to fight first. It's okay if you hit him with like a aspect warrior unit or something. He might kill a guy. Yeah, anti-advance tech is huge. And that, I like that. That's cool. Death Guard being like, hey, I'm going to bring you down to my level and you have to be as slow as me. That makes a lot of sense. Death Guard having reactive moves, maybe not so much. But Death Guard having all of this sort of this control technology makes a ton of sense. Foul Blightspawn continued to be an absolute goat. Biologus Putrifier has Hyper Blight Grenades, D6 Blast Lethal for Strength 7 AP 1-2 damage. He has his cute little pistol gun, Anti-Infantry 2 AP 1-3 damage. That's cute. And he has a lethal hit knife. He gives all your weapons lethal hits, and they get 5-up criticals. So he's basically the same. The first time his model's unit destroys an enemy unit as a result of a melee attack, adds 6 to the objective control characteristic of this model. He is almost literally an apothecary Biologus. I guess it makes sense. The Biologi models all do the same thing. Man, eat your fucking heart out, Apothecary Biologus, though. He's like, hey, guys, I get lethal hits and I have this funny OC ability. The Putrifier's like, do you get 5-up criticals, though? No? Are you going to take Storm of Fire to do that? Or, Fire Discipline? Oh, you can't anymore? Get fucked. Haha. I can. It's because he can't attach into aggressors, that's why. Or eradicators. And get sustained lethal on 5s with full rerolls. I understand why, but it is funny. Common Chaos W, yeah, for sure. I mean, it is a little silly that like the classic combination of Putrifier Blightspawn, because they can both attach, right? Is just still there. Like, these characters haven't really changed that much. The Foul Blightspawn just doesn't get fight first multiple times. Oh, okay. Oh, all right, I guess. I'll probably get shot to death anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the Biologus Putrifier has been good since time immemorial. It turns out 5-up lethals is really strong if you're shooting fucking belted guns at people. Tallymanster gives you ignore characteristic modifiers, has his leadership ability, and he has the same ability to regenerate CP in your command phase. He's probably going to take a 1 off of him and just hang out and screen your home objective and get CP. Normal stuff. Plague Surgeon can bring bodyguard models back to the unit. He can only attach to Plague Marines, though. At the start of the fight phase, he can... Oh, Frankissy, thank you for joining the channel membership. Appreciate that. Start of the fight phase, you can select an enemy unit with an engagement range. You do until the end of the phase. Each time he makes it attack the target's that unit, you get 5-up criticals. 4-up criticals if the unit is below half strength. Oh my god. So it's engaged range of the Plague Surgeon himself. So it's basically Yvrane's ability to get wound rerolls with Eldar models. but he gives you enhanced criticals. The big thing is that it works on other stuff. It works on everything, right? Oh no, it's this. It's you send this model makes an attack. It's not this unit. Oh, all right. He's actually kind of good at melee. He's strength 5, AP 2, 2 damage. So, but you take a Poxlord, I guess, if you actually want to hit people. Oh, what a bizarre little guy. So he just gets slightly enhanced lethals if he engages you. Each time this model makes an attack that targets that unit, and unmodified hit roll of 5 scores a critical hit. Yeah, okay. I guess otherwise he would just be a worse version of the Putrifier, but he already is kind of that, so... Well, you know, here he is. He's the Plague Surgeon. Yeah, it's just him. Just that guy. Yeah, he's okay. He's just chilling. Get a little enhanced critical, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he's cheap. How much is he right now? Like 45 points? Is this also... It doesn't require him to lead? Is there a universe where you take them by themselves as like little stabby guys? Probably not, right? They'd have to be super cheap for that to matter. Well, I could figure it out if Waha didn't just actually shut down. He is currently 50. And his melee attack is the same as it was previously. I don't know. Yeah. Probably leave that guy at home. Poxwalkers. The old Poxwalkers. T4, 5 of Feel No Pain. Every time they destroy non-monster, non-vehicle, you can return a Poxwalker to the unit. Well, Typhus is leading them. When he eats people, then they also turn into Poxwalkers. Yeah, these guys, I think, are unchanged. Oh, they're move 5 now. They used to be move 4, right? I'm going to fact check. I believe that they got an extra move. They did. They did get an extra move. Good for them. Move 4 was really bad for utility units. Move 5 is still not great, but it's definitely serviceable. Neat. All right. Well, good on you, little guys. I'm proud of you. And I believe that their weapons are identical. Yeah, yes, they are the same. All right. Icon Bearer. You get +1 OC when he's attached, and once per battle, you can select a Death Guard unit within 12 inches. It becomes no longer battle shocked. That's a nice ability to have, but it is very situational. He has a bolt gun. There was a... All right, rumor, people. There was a rumor that this guy automatically afflicted people when he shot them. That's just wrong. He just doesn't have that. This guy's not very good, I think. Okay, well... Good stuff. Thanks, rumors. So far, we're batting like 50 with the rumors. I think the World Eaters ones still had some problems, but they were largely correct. The Death Guard ones seem like kind of all over the place. Plague Marines. Oh, okay. So Plague Marines have the inflicted effect. Not the plague, not the icon bearer. Was I crazy about that? I don't think so. I think that's what the previous thing said. Yeah, the rumors said that the icon bearer has the Helbrute ability, but the icon bearer actually doesn't do anything. He's just kind of bad. Plague Marines got they afflict people and they shoot them. That's really good. These guys seem great. Obviously, much better than like +1 leadership while you're on objectives. Not very good ability. In fact, very bad. Icon of Despair. Worsens leadership characteristic of enemy
T.
models.
Craig 93 donated $2 through Super Chat. Poxwalkers gained Infiltrate as well.
Oh, sick. Oh yeah, look at that. So they're much better as utility then, for sure. That's they're incredibly useful, I think. OC1 as well, so they can do actions and stuff. So you're probably in for 2 to 3 units of Poxwalkers in every list, I imagine then. That being the case. That's very, very good. Which I guess also serves to replace Nurglings, because Death Guard are losing access to their Nurglings outside of their Demon detachment, so that's kind of a huge deal.
Ryan G donated $2 through Super Chat. You missed Infiltrate on Poxwalkers.
No, I didn't. No, see, we're talking about it. See, I knew the whole time. See, I knew it was there for sure. Thank you for the super chats, you two. T. Craig and Ryan G. Never happened. Never. Not in a million years. 150 Poxwalker jail? I mean, maybe. Like, we'll see how hard they are to kill. I've played against a million Poxwalkers. Those guys die like dogs. But I guess it depends on how expensive they are. What are they currently? They're like 4 points a bottle right now, or 5 points a bottle. 150 be like 750 would be kind of a lot. You gotta expect an infiltrator unit's at least 6 points a bottle, right? And so like you're down 900 on Poxwalkers. Maybe that's fine. You take Mortarion to give them the reactive move and stuff. But they don't really do anything. Their OC's not that great, and they'll just like fall over. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the detachments do. Codex points say 60 for 10. If you attach a character to Poxwalkers, can they infiltrate? Only if the character has infiltrate itself. So if we look at like Malignant Plaguecaster, he doesn't have infiltrate. He will actually strip infiltrate from the Poxwalker unit if he attaches. So that's actually a very like an absolute trash attachment for him. He super doesn't want to do that. That actually would have been really wild if they gave this dude infiltrate, and you could just take him in solos, and he would just like run up in the middle. Probably too strong, to be honest. But he should have gotten the ability where if he attaches to a Poxwalker unit, he gains infiltrate. I'm gonna double check it. I know that's the case for scouts. I'm gonna double check myself just in case, and make sure I don't spread misinformation. But I'm pretty sure that infiltrator has the clause that every model in the unit has it. Yeah, if every model in a unit has the infiltrator ability, you can deploy 9 inches away from enemy models. So if you attach a Plaguecaster or Typhus, probably. If you attach a Plaguecaster or you attach Typhus to the unit, it no longer infiltrates. They forget how to go in front of the RB. They sit in the back. They're sad. Oftentimes you rapid ingress the Typhus Poxwalker unit. Saw that quite a bit. He was a good rapid ingress. Obviously he can't deep strike, but you know. All right. Good old Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers look great. Plague Marines look phenomenal. I think that in worst case scenario, you're playing like 2 5-man Plague Marines inside like even non-infantry builds, so that you can range apply affliction to people. Like, you know, you could do it with Bloat-Drones previously, but like Plague Marines are a utility unit. They're relatively resilient. They're OC2, and then also they can shoot people. They can shoot like toughness off of people. That seems great. Just dump a plasma gun on somebody, and then give yourself some spicy +1 to wound them sometimes. Are there weapons difference? Blight Launcher's D3 Blast with lethal, so it gets the Lord of Virulence benefit, which is nice. It was like previously just like 2 shots, right? It was like weird. It didn't really make sense as a weapon profile. It was previously 2 shots, 612. It's like, okay, it's supposed to be a grenade launcher. It shoots 2 times. All right, you know, for sure, man. It's basically a heavy bolter instead. No, okay. Now it's blast weapon. Cool. Bolt guns are normal. Everything's got lethal. Melting guns are good. Plague belchers, anti-infantry 4, ignore cover torrent. Plague spewer, anti-infantry 2, strength 5, AP 1. How many of each do you get? For every 5 models, you get 1 plague belcher. So it's instead of melta or plasma. And then for every 5 models, you get 1 plague spewer. Well, you can play like pretty hardcore guns with these dudes. You can get one flamer, 1 plasma, 1 blight launcher, 1 melee guy. You're locked into a bolt gun if you take the Icon of Despair. This might be the only Chaos Icon that you do not take. Because you otherwise can replace... In a 5-man unit, you can otherwise replace every single model's weapon, right? You can go 2 heavy plague weapons, 2 heavy weapons, 2 special weapons, up to, plus you have a champion. So in a 5-model unit, you probably don't take the Icon. That's super weird. Because the Icon requires you to take a bolter. A 10-model unit, I think, will have the extra bolter. Will it? No. Yeah, I actually just don't think you take this Icon at all. Because you can have up to 1 special, up to 2 heavies, up to 2 heavy plague weapons. Yeah, you just would basically never take the bolter or the Icon. That's silly. Okay. Good stuff, I guess. Weird. Maybe they made it like super trash so that nobody would take it. Blightlord Terminators. Let's talk about the Termi boys. So +1 toughness on all the Terminators. Normal stuff. It looks like their weapons are largely the same. Blight Launcher has the new blast keyword. Plague Spewers, Reaper autocannons are all normal stuff. Getting wound rerolls from a Lord of Virulence on a Reaper autocannon is pretty sweet. You get +1 strength, +1 AP when you target an afflicted unit. What is this? What is this clause? What is this requirement? If the unit has a starting strength of 5, or if a character is leading, then you get +1 strength and +1 AP when you target an afflicted unit. Because you can take 3, and I guess it was too strong if 3 Terminators got +1 strength. What? Okay. I mean, I guess so. That's such a weird call out. I don't know if I totally understand that. It's super weird. All right. Okay. I guess so. So what can we take in this unit? So we get +1 strength and AP, so we go to strength 5 AP 1 combi bolters and strength 8 AP 2 Reaper autocannons. We get up to 2 Reaper autocannons, 2 blight launchers, 2 plague spewers. If the unit contains only 3 models, a combi bolter and bubonic blade can be replaced with a plague spear and a close combat weapon. So you can take an additional. Why? Wait, why? Why do you have this? So if you have 5 models, you can take a regular Plague Spear. But if you have only 3, you get a shitty Plague Spear that's bad. Okay. Cool. I don't understand. I don't understand it. Maybe the three Blightlord Terminators is super cheap. But maybe when they come out with the Codex points, the unit of 3 dudes that's like basically just gonna be bolters, just 3 bolter fuckers is gonna be like, I don't know. What's a good cost for 3 Terminator profiles? Like T7 Terminator profiles that you would actually pay. Like 85 points or something. 80 points. And they're just like the world's silliest utility in it. They're move 5 as well. Holy shit. That's new, right? They were move 4 previously? Damn, son. So they're not quite as worthless in terms of moving. Yeah, they're move 5. That's a big deal. This 3-man unit's like sending me. It's like so worthless if it doesn't have, if it's not like super cheap for whatever reason. That's 115 for 3 in the Codex? Yeah, go fuck yourself. No goddamn way. That's so stupid. Oh man. Yeah, if that's like, if you get them sub 30 points for a unit of 3, you'd take that for sure, right? They're just like this little annoying unit to go hold objectives. It's actually kind of sick. Or even like at 90, maybe you take them. But any more than that, and you just like have no heavy weapons and no output or whatever, and you're just like sad.
Ryan G donated $2 through Super Chat. Lord Felthius box demands its own unit-sized doll.
I don't even know what that is. Lord Felthius and the Tainted Court. Wait, isn't this the Lord of Contagion? I looked up Lord of Contagion and I got Sauron. Is that right? Does that look right, chat? Okay. So wait. The Lord of Contagion is an epic hero guy? Why isn't he a character then? Why isn't he a special character? Why is he just a regular dude? And then because this guy doesn't have a sword, they have to like twist themselves into, they contort themselves into like a little pretzel to make him, to put him in the unit. Whatever, dude. Also, he's a member of the Tainted Court, like capital T, or Tainted Cohort, excuse me, capital T, capital C, and he's worse than a regular Blightlord Terminator. Cool, man. That's so stupid. It's good value for money, though. And in terms of recent GW prices, $15 for Terminator model, it's actually not that bad. With a character in it. Lord of Contagion is a Terminator with the big cleave. Is it, chat? I think you'll find that this is Lord Felthius. I don't know. Let me double check. Hmm. Corporate needs you to find the difference between these two pictures. He has a big heart. Yeah, he's showing it to you. Would you like it? The base sizes are fucked too. Oh, are they like 50s or something? No, 40s. Oh, but his is 40. But it should be 50? Oh, it even calls him a Lord of Contagion. Three Nurglings. You can make a whole Nurgling swarm out of this kit, too. One with a rather sinister grin. Cool, thanks, G-Dub. I'm glad you told me about that. Rather sinister. Lord Felthius boss and Lord of Contagion from Dark Imperium are 2 different base sizes. Yeah, it seems like the... I guess I don't know. It's from the Dark Imperium starter?
Ryan G donated $2 through Super Chat. They changed the pick since Locke is only Blackstone.
He's a Blackstone Fortress model? Where is that even on this on this thing? Blackstone Fortress does not exist on the fucking website. How do you purchase the OG Lord? He's the guy with the 2-handed axe, right? Which is like super cool, and it has like a chainsaw inside it, which I love. I think the OG Lord of Contagion model is one of my favorite models for in the Death Guard range. How do you buy it? Can you not? Does he just not exist anymore? First of all, look at this fucking guy. Oh my god, what a cool ass model. Give me that shit. Get this Lord Felthius guy out of here. This guy's stupid. But also, is this model just gone? He's just gone forever? They just got rid of him? He's like suppressors. Like, well, he's here, I guess, but you can't buy him anywhere. Get wrecked. Now there'll be arguments about base sizes? No, I don't know. That is a mess. What an absolute mess. It's almost like if they wanted to discontinue Lord of Contagion, it's almost like they should have discontinued Lord of Contagion and removed this datasheet and replaced it with the Lord Felthius Epic Hero datasheet. And maybe even made him an optional character unit, like multi-model character unit with the tainted cohort, where he gets a couple little Terminators that have their own profile, and maybe they have different Plague Spearers. But no, we can't do that. That's too much work. What a mess. What an absolute mess of a unit. I mean, he's really good, so like you'll play him, but that just makes it worse because now you're gonna have to have these discussions with people. How does this model actually work? I don't fucking know. Wasn't there a Plaguecaster that was only available in Japan or something? Probably in because Japan did the blind buy boxes for a while, where you could buy like a box with a miniature in it, but you didn't know which kind it was. I think there are a bunch of there's a bunch of Plague Marine stuff in there from 7th edition that has that are from those boxes. And I believe that in some instances they did dictate how this unit was assembled, because I think that they at one point had unique weapon profiles or weapon loadouts. It was from Warhammer Heroes or something. It was from... But you got 6 random Plague Marines? That's annoying. Oh, man. Oh, they're like push fit too. They look really bad. Let me see if I can find a picture. Yeah, so it was called Space Marine Heroes. Oh, I can't remember. I remembered that. It was called Space Marine Heroes, and it was a Death Guard blind buy. Oh yeah, here they are. Open image. Here they are. Yeah, so it's a Malignant Plaguecaster. He's a little bit less like flamboyant than the regular Plaguecaster. He's much more subdued too, which I kind of like. There's a grenade guy with a knife. There's a Plague Spear guy, a knife and sword guy, flail guy, an icon guy, and is this the Blight Launcher guy? Oh, okay. I guess they didn't have special weapon selections. Although I know for a while that they let you they had a special points call out for 7 Plague Marines. I think so that you could like add these dudes to a 5-man. These are in Kill Team now? Oh. Well, that's cool. I know next to nothing about Kill Team, but that's actually sick. So Kill Team has ostensibly unique Plague Marine models. Death Guard kill team. Kill Death. It's great. Kill Death Maim. I'm striking out, chat. So then this one? Oh yeah, here we go. Look at him. There he is. It's the guy. He's blue now. It's the sword guy. Yeah, these models are neat. These are cool as fuck. But is the Plaguecaster in the kit? It seems like he's not. Maybe. Are these all actually just the Space Marine heroes? Did they just like redo them? You gotta grab his bolter guy. Captain. This is definitely a Space Marine 2 like PvP team. Oh yeah, there's the Plaguecaster guy. Neat. So you still can get that guy, you just gotta get the kill team starter set. Cool. I like him. Also, he's got a tiny little fly. Look at this cool little fly. It's carrying some maggots around. That is a cool ass model. He's got little flies coming out of his thing. Also, flying maggots somehow. Don't really understand how that works, but you know, sure, whatever. I have to say, a lot of times Games Workshop particle effects look really hokey. This one looks okay. It's got a motion to it, which looks pretty nice. Oh, he's got little wings on his backpack, dude. Little fly wings. And look at that OG, the Lorica iron armor. This guy's really cool. I like this kit. Yeah, I'd be all in on this. All right, well, anyway, this is broken, I guess. Let's talk about the data sheets again. So anyway, going back to it, Blightlord Terminators seem pretty okay. So we can combo them out to reroll ones to hit with lethals, +1 strength, AP, and wound rerolls. So a 10-man can fire, if we don't take melee, we get 2 Blight Launchers, 2 Reaper autocannons, 2 Plague Spewers, and 3 Plague Spewers if we include the character, and 4 Bolters. All right, well maybe you do. Maybe you do cut the stupid you cut the melee for flails. The flail is 3 more attacks at 1 less AP than the sword. Interesting. You can push them to AP2 with a contagion because you're contagioning people, right? So we're shooting 3d6 AP3 ignore cover, strength 6 AP3 ignore cover, rerolling wounds. 8 strength 8 AP3 sustain devastating, rerolling wounds. And 2 D3 AP3 2 damage blast lethal full rerolls. That's probably actual damage. What's the math hammer? What's the math hammer on that? If we assume that they have combi bolters, so it's 16 bolter attacks and 3s, 4, 2, 1. What unit crunch today? And then we do 8, 3, 8, 2, 1. I think I'd have to build a custom weapon for these to be devastating. Oh, I'd have to build a whole thing for these to be correct, actually. All right, this is too much work. I'm not going to do that. I would have to rebuild a whole profile to get the accurate math, so whatever. I'm not going to do that. But it's like, at minimum, let's say you're winning on 5s, right? We're attacking a T9 vehicle. The Plague Spewers at AP3 full rerolls with a Lord of Virulence. Yeah, like 10-ish hits, 11 hits, I guess. Winning on 5s, rerolling. So, like, probably put, like, 6 damage on you. 5 damage on a good day, I guess. And then the Blight Launchers are full rerolls. So, like, 4 shots, almost certainly get a lethal. And then winning on 5s with full rerolls. So, you're probably, like, 2 or 3, AP3 for 2 damage. So, you're probably in for another 4. And then the Reaper autocannons are probably on... It's called 7 hits. Strength 8, rerolling for and devastating. So you're probably in for like 2 mortals and like 2 more damage. So you're probably a 10 mana Blightlords with a Lord of Virulence. He's probably killing like a 12 wound vehicle on the shoot, just with the -1 AP aura or the -1 save aura. Assuming you can activate it, and they can do that out of Deep Strike. And then you also get Combi Bolters. That's legit. It's probably expensive, but it's super legit. The Plague Spewer is going to like baseline AP2 effectively is really good. I think this unit might be okay now. Oh, buff with a Predator Destructor. If you're shooting in... Oh, does that have like an AP reduction thing? I guess we'll look at it in a sec. Deathshroud Terminators. They give characters 4+, feel no pain. They lost their -1 to be wounded. So they gained 1 toughness, lost -1 to wound, but gained a wound? Is that right? They were 3 before, right? Which... in fairness, did feel a little light. It was weird when you would shoot the 6-man Deathshroud Terminator unit with like a plasma cannon and they all died. And you were like, huh, all right. Yeah, so they gained a lost -1 to be wounded, gained a toughness and a wound, which is probably a slight increase in resilience, but not like hyper dramatic. The big thing though is that they can be set up anywhere on the battlefield more than 6 inches away from all afflicted enemies, more than 9 inches away from all other enemies. That's super duper strong. That's a really cool ability, and it's incredibly strong. Oh my god. It looks like their pistols are the same. Their melee attacks are the same. Their sweep got -1 to hit, +2 attacks, -1 strength, and +1 AP. What a weird change. Okay. It's like probably a side grade, right? Instead of there, it's 8 on 3s instead of 6 on 2s, which is like probably a similar level of lethality. And then AP1 instead of strength 5, AP0. So they wound on -1, but you get -1 save. Yeah, it's like probably a side grade. Better against light infantry, though, I guess. Yeah, and then you're going to put the Lord of Contagion in there. So they lost wound, or the Lord of Contagion used to give them hit rerolls, right? Was their thing? Used to give you hit rerolls, so you could fish for lethals. Now you're just rolling 2-ups to hit. But you have sustained hits 1, and you have lance, so you're winning on 4s probably, or maybe 3s if they're a light vehicle. The interesting thing about these, and I think the part that I really like, is that you can't use any of your offensive... Like, you can't use Plague Marines, for example, to shoot Affliction onto a unit and then Deep Strike Deathshroud Terminators, because the sequencing doesn't work that way. You have to already be within 6 to 9 inches of an enemy in order to put Deathshrouds there. Interestingly, this Death Approaches ability, however, doesn't require that you do it during your turn, although I wonder if that will be eroded. So what you could do is you could shoot a unit with Plague Marines and then rapid ingress 6 inches away from them. Because the Plague Marine debuff affects them until your next turn. which is kind of neat. Although I do wonder if that ability is going to stay, because most of the close deep strike stuff they have changed to be only during your turn. Although Chaos Demons don't do that, so maybe it's fine. Maybe they will keep this one. I guess the ones that you can go anywhere they want to restrict from rapid ingressing, but the ones that you have have riders on them that you have to jump through hoops, probably they are okay with you doing it at any time. I mean, these guys, you seem great. Unironically really good. Plus 1 movement. They went from 4 to 5, so they're not the slowest thing in the universe anymore. They're just close to it. The Deathshroud champion gets a bunch of extra shit because he's awesome. Look at him go. Helbrute. Helbrutes get +1 to wound afflicted enemies. Okay, well, you sold me, I guess. Okay. Just a straight up +1 to wound on all his attacks, probably. He's only move 7. He's only T9. He's not that hard to kill. But yeah, he seems fine. No support effects whatsoever, which is a little bit interesting. He's a little bit more along the lines of the World Eaters one. If he's not super expensive though, having you could take just the gun platform book version where it's like multi-melta or twin las cannon plus missile launcher, and he's just like winning everything on 2s. It actually seems really sick. If he's not like 140 points or 150 points or something, I bet these guys are going to be like hyper playable. Again, you shoot somebody with a Plague Marine, and then everything goes crazy. Chaos Spawn. Do they continue to be the best thing in the universe? They seem fine. Move 8, Scout 6, Feel No Pain 5 up. Yeah, incredible. Good utility. OC 1, let's go. And they reflect damage in melee, which... Each time a melee attack is allocated to a model, after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks roll 1d6. So, all right, people are going to fuck this up. I believe that this affects saves. People are going to say it's every time an attack targets them, but that's not correct. Attacks being allocated is after a successful wound. So it's each time this unit is successfully wounded by a melee attack, essentially. But they didn't say that, and everyone's going to fuck this ability up. That's problematic wording. Yeah, so attacks are allocated at the step before the saving throw is made. So it's after an attack successfully wounds. It's over here. It's in the allocate attack section. I just want to make sure everybody knows. So y'all in chat, everybody in chat, don't let your local Death Guard players do this to you. This is an important PSA. They can't... it's not every time you target them with an attack. It's every time you successfully wound them. So if you attack them with Assault Intercessors, and they're wounding them on 5s, and you attack them 16 times, but you only wound them 3 times, they only roll 3 dice. They don't roll 12. But that is absolutely going to get fucked up by everybody. Why don't they put it as wounded? Yeah, I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you. I think it's because... it doesn't continue to damage the attacker after you're dead. So if you have like 1 wound left and you die to the first attack... Oh, God. So I think that the difference is that attacks that wound but have no legal allocation because you've been destroyed already don't get allocated because you don't go to a save throw. So I think I think that The correct interpretation is that you can't fast roll against Chaos Spawn. So these guys might just be the greatest unit in 40k because all you do is like heroically intervene something that has a million attacks and then time your opponent out. You go like, oh, what's that? You're attacking with 40 fucking chaos cultists. Roll them one at a time, please, because the order matters. So you're legally not allowed to fast dice roll here in case you kill me. I believe is the distinction. If that's the case, this is so stupid. What a dumb ability. Obviously, no one in their right mind is going to play it that way. But you do have to. I believe that you do have to be careful about how you resolve attacks against these guys. Oh man. Is wounded like an official thing in the game? Yeah, of course. So like wounded is a result of a wound roll. You score a wound if you have rolled the requisites on the wound roll chart, which means that the target is successfully wounded. So like wounded is it's weird because Warhammer uses it in a way that you wouldn't really expect. You would expect wounded to mean a unit that has, or a model that has suffered some amount of damage, but wounded simply means that the attack has progressed to the point where the target can save. That's all it means. You would assume that wounded would be like a persistent effect that occurs when you take damage, but it's just like a step in the process of potentially giving you damage. And then there are a number of wounds that the models have that once they're removed, which they do so through failed saving throws, they're dead. But that's basically the number of successful wounds that pass through the save throw process before that you can sustain before you die. But wounded simply means that the attack has rolled enough on its wound roll to force a save. How would that work with devastating wounds since they are done at the end of the attack? You roll for the ability, but take the damage later. So this is after attacks are finished. So essentially, what happens is that you go, I'm going to attack the Chaos Spawn unit. I'm going to attack it 20 times. I roll my hit. I roll my wound. I look at my wounds and I say, I'm handing you 7. I've wounded you 7 times. The Death Guard player goes, all right, I'm going to allocate those saves one at a time to models in the unit. That goes on the stack essentially as 7 allocated attacks to the Chaos Spawn, which means that that information gets put aside. Essentially, the game like holds it in stasis for a sec. You resolve all of the attacks from the attacking unit, then you go back and say there were 7 allocated wounds. I can roll 6 lethal ichor damage against you. So devastating would be like, if I devastated, I'm still wounding and the attack is still being allocated. So once your attacks are resolved, devastating gets assigned, you take the devastating damage, then you do the lethal ichor attacks, including the devastating wounds as well. Yeah, this ability's fine. It's not even that good. It's just like kind of a mechanical mess. I do wish it was each time a melee attack successfully wounds. The allocation like timing is really bizarre. Chaos Spawn's still good though. I don't know. They're going to be really good utility units. Whether or not you need them in a realm of infiltrating Poxwalkers, I don't know, but we'll see. It's like football or soccer. If they swing and miss you, you are still wounded. No, kind of like the opposite, but also it's funny comparison. So let's say yes. If your attacks kill the spawn, do you still do mortals back? You do, and that's what we were talking about, where it gets super fishy, like it gets super wishy-washy, because you only do mortal wounds up to, I believe that this is the case, and I'm sure maybe somebody in the comment section can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe that you will do mortal wounds up to the attack that killed the Chaos Spawn, which is why fast dice rolling gets super duper hokey. So if I have a 1 wound Chaos Spawn and my opponent assigns me a trillion attacks, I have to roll out my saves one at a time because I only get enough lethal Ichor hits back up to the number of attacks the number of successful attacks that it actually took my opponent to kill them. So I think the correct sequencing is that I'm attacking the Chaos Spawn. They only have a couple wounds left. I go through my fast dice roll and I wound them 6 times. The Chaos Spawn player goes save, feel no pain, save, feel no pain, save, feel no pain until they have determines the number of those attacks that actually could have been allocated, because any future ones would not have needed to be rolled because I would have already been destroyed, which means that's the number of lethal Ichor attacks I get. So if I fast dice roll and pass the Death Guard player 7 wounds, but only 3 of them are required to kill the Chaos Spawn unit, I only get 3 hits back. I think is how it works. I wonder if there's a rules commentary about this. God, they could have just said successfully wounded. It would have been a stronger ability, but I don't know. I actually do think that probably the fair interpretation of the timing, the fast dice rolling ability, is that you hand the saves to the Death Guard player and they're forced to slow dice their saves. So this unit actually might literally just be in terms of timing, might literally just be a downside. All right, yeah, I don't have I can't find a commentary on allocation specifically. But I don't believe you can't allocate attacks to models who aren't there, because destruction supersedes everything. As soon as a unit loses model loses its last root, it's destroyed and removed from play immediately. So, I don't believe that it's legal to allocate to a model that's already been destroyed. So I don't think you are able to reflect damage on saves that you can't take. Can you not fast roll up to your wounds remaining? Yeah, for sure. But then slow roll. Yeah, absolutely. So if you're oh, I took 7 damage, but I only have 3 wounds, I'll roll 3 and see if that kills me. And then you have to go one at a time, essentially. It's just funny that it's probably gonna be a 75 point 2 model utility unit that's almost certainly gonna eat up a minute of your time to resolve the attack against it. Which is I don't know, a little silly, but because as the Death Guard player, you go, I'll take my save, I'll take my feel no pain, I'll do my lethal Ichor, and then the next thing attacks me, take my save, slow roll, solve my saves, slow roll my feel no pains, now roll my lethal Ichor. I don't know, it's just weird. Yeah, just shoot it. Just shoot it. It's fine. You don't have to think about these rules at all if you just shoot it. Yeah. But I think it's important to note that obviously the melee attack being allocated to a model in the Chaos Spawn unit sounds like it is an effect that triggers on targeting, but it doesn't. It triggers on successful wounds. So everybody in chat, make sure you play this correctly. Make sure your opponent's not automatically rolling 12 dice against you every time. Because if they do, they're cheating. It's a mini game. Yeah. You roll 6. No. It says up to a maximum of 6. So it's each time an attack is allocated, roll 1 dice up to 6 for each attacking unit. So if you're attacked by 2 separate units and it takes them collectively at least 6 attacks from each one, you're rolling 12 dice, 6 against each attacker, right? So if they're beating on you with little idiots, cultists are I would up 6s, then you're gonna hit them for 6 every time, basically. Every time they successfully wound you, obviously, as long as they're not killing you. Simplified, not simple. Yeah, welcome to 40k, dude. But this is what we sign up for. If you don't like it, fucking go to breachstorm.com and buy a starter set. You want to play a game that doesn't have all this stupid shit? Breachstorm.com. Exclamation point breachstorm in chat. You can end early if you get the 6 mortals before dying. Yes. Yeah, if they've already wounded you 6 times, then it's fine. Like if you're full up and you have 8 wounds and they wound you 6 times, you don't have to worry about it, right? Because you're automatically going to be resolving 6 reflecting attacks. Let's talk about Blight Haulers, chat. I want to stop talking about Spawn. Spawn seem great. It's just a weirdly worded rule. Mephitic Blight Haulers. They have a missile launcher. They have a multi-melta. And they get +1 to hit and to wound against monsters or vehicles. Move 10 wounds, which I think is what they had before, right? These guys seem great, actually. +1 to hit and wound against monsters or vehicles. Jesus Christ. Yeah, their top line profile is identical. Yep. They just got a dramatically improved... Oh, I think their spit is better. Nope, just kidding. It's the same. Melee attack's the same. Yeah, they just got a much better special ability, which is good because I always thought it was. I always hate it when they're like, "Hey, this affects like vehicles, not monsters," and you're like, "Great." So like, a good 30% of the factions in the game simply don't care about that ability, and I get no benefit from it. Which means that in like many cases, I can't take this model because we're playing in an open like format where I may be paired against people who have only monsters and no vehicles. But the fact that it works against monsters and vehicles is great. These guys seem amazing. Hitting on 2s, wounding on minimum 4s with a multi-melta and a missile launcher is awesome. I love it. Couldn't find the Breachstorm with all rows. Let's kill Yomaro Totoro. Dude, too soon, man. I'm so sad I missed that, dude. Can you... God damn. That makes me so upset. Fucking Angry Joe. Angry Joe stealing all my thunder. God damn it, Angry Joe. Stop being a wildly popular YouTuber. That's okay. He and I are gonna hang out next month. After DreamHack, we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be sweet. So Foetid Bloat-Drones have been cut into 2 separate data sheets, which is cool. So there is the standard Foetid Bloat-Drone datasheet, and then there is a heavy Blight Launcher datasheet. The standard Foetid Bloat-Drone is either the Flesh Mower or the double Plague Spitter guy, which is able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. These guys make me tear my goddamn hair out because they're the most obnoxiously statted thing to kill in the universe. T9, 10 wounds, 3 up, 5 up. Is like, doesn't seem that good, except that they're like basically free and they'll always blank slightly more of your attacks than you expect. And then you charge them and you leave them on 1 and they pass their battle shock and then they fall back and shoot you and then charge and tank shock and you die. And it's like, why? Why are you like this? How dare you? So yeah, they're great. I don't know. Nothing's changed, it seems like. This heavy Blight Launcher profile is totally new though. So they have a strength 10 AP2 3 damage gun. Holy shit. They used to be strength 8. Strength 10? Okay. I guess it used to be flat 6 shots, and now it's D6 plus 2 blast, which is like basically a side grade. But it could roll 1 shot, I guess. Each time he makes an attack that destroys an enemy unit, before removing the last model in the unit from play, roll a d6, add +1 to result if the unit was afflicted. On a 5+, each enemy unit within 6 inches of that model is afflicted until the start of your next turn. It is a really cool ability, but it's not very good. It afflicts them, but it's not... First of all, your opponent has almost total control over whether or not it affects them. I think in most instances where your opponent is like collected all together, you're probably afflicting them anyway with stuff. And you don't know if they can pull casualties in such a way where it potentially doesn't affect other models, and you don't have control over whether or not it works. So I don't like that. I do like the gun though. That gun's really good. Did they do a? Is this really what the Blight Launcher model looks like? It looks like they did a Photoshop whoopsie on it. Oh, they did. Chat. A faux pas. A Photoshop pas. You fucked it up. Look. The Blight Launcher. Oh, wow. They really did a number on this guy. So the Blight Launcher dude has these little metal things above the like ammo carry thing, and they entirely deleted the brass part, and then they cut. I don't know what they did here. They cut into the fucking the Blight Launcher. What did they do to that? It's horrible. It's been destroyed. And also they entirely deleted the brass part on the top of this side too. That's totally gone. What the heck? Ooh. We got some good Photoshop jobs in this set. We had Angron with background bits from the PNG or from the store photo, like the JPEG. Now this guy's getting bits out of his model deleted. Embarrassing, chat. Warhammer's Games Workshop's like a multi-billion-dollar company now. It's like a $1 billion franchise. We're just cutting pieces off our miniatures now. Get out of here. That's funny. I jest. Is the barrel cut out too? Oh my god, it is. What did they do? they just sliced a piece of it out. What the fuck? Look what they've done to my boy. Oh man, incredible. That doesn't matter, obviously. This is mostly for fun, but it is extremely funny. We'll see what these guys' points value is. Strength 10, AP 2, 3 damage is a legitimate range gun profile. Obviously, I think this ability is more useful. This ability feels like a lot of text to do very little. This ability feels much more useful for sure. So we might just be on the Flesh Mower, Plague Probe, Plague Spitter guys, but we'll see. Plagueburst Crawler. T10, 2 up, 5 up, 12 wounds, normal stuff. Their entropy cannons went from 24 to 36 inches. That's a huge update. Their plague spitters are the same. Plagueburst mortar is the same. And each time you select a target for the mortar, roll a d6 for the target and everybody else within 3. And you get +1 if they are afflicted. On a 6+, they take D3 mortals. It's like Malevolent Arcing, I guess, but it doesn't affect them that often. Yeah, they seem fine. Long range entropy cannons is definitely a big update, but I think I would be less enthused about these guys as I am many of the other stuff we've seen. I don't know. Which is maybe okay. Like, they still have an indirect gun, which is fine. It's kind of whatever though. Predator Annihilator. Ooh, new special abilities. So their top guns are the same. Their heavy boulders retain lethals, which is neat. After you shot, you select a monster or vehicle that was hit by one of his attacks. Roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result if the unit is afflicted on a 5+, they take D3 mortals. Oh. Okay. Would I rather have that or full damage rerolls? Maybe damage rerolls. Okay. Like, I guess you could do the funny thing where you shoot your combi bolter at something and then like do D3 mortals to it maybe, and then shoot your big guns at something else. But for the most part, I'm shooting my big guns at the monsters or vehicles anyway, so that would be the thing that's eligible for me to choose. So yeah, I don't know. That feels like actually a downgrade from the regular Predator Annihilator. Kind of wish I was the World Eaters one right now, chat. Predator Destructor is next. Their autocannon is strength 10. What's up with that? Why is that, chat? Why is the autocannon strength 10? It's just better than everyone else's autocannons? And it's lethal? What the fuck? These guys are amazing. Wait a minute. Are we just 3 Predator Destructors in every Chaos in every Death Guard list now? What? In your shooting phase, after he's shot, select one enemy unit, excluding monsters and vehicles. Until the end of the phase, each time a Death Guard makes a ranged attack targeting enemy unit improve AP characteristic by 1. Non-monster, non-vehicle. All right. So that's fine, I guess. It's a Hail Strike ability, but it doesn't affect the Predator itself. Which is actually like slightly like a side grade from the regular Destructor ability. They're no longer AP2 on their own shooting against infantry, which I guess would make sense that his gun's better because it's actually not that great in comparison. This doesn't seem that great, to be honest. We're 3 Destructors already? Are we... I mean, Strength 10 is good. Strength 10 lethal is great. Like, don't get me wrong. But they are essentially 1 less AP. But I guess, like, realistically, if we're shooting big stuff, it doesn't matter. The AP characteristic doesn't matter. It's just like a downgrade against heavy infantry. So, all right, I'll buy it. You can still play Predator Destructors. Do you still play the heavy bolters though? I think you might leave the heavy bolters at home, to be honest, because they aren't AP2 anymore, unless it's the second Predator shooting. In which case, like, I don't know. Does it matter as much? It's like Exogrins. Yeah, but Exogrins are also AP3. Like, yeah, you'll probably still take them just for the raw profile of itself. This feels like a nothing burger of an ability, though. Like, the gun is better, but the ability is worse, I think, in some instances. Maybe not on the whole worse, but it feels like at best a side grade. Like, just having baked in +1 AP, like situational +1 AP, does feel just like so strong. Defiler gets the new Scuttling Walker ability, like the other one does. Ms. Battle Cannon got lethal, which is great. I like that they all have lethal hits and stuff. He has less attacks than the World Eaters one. However, in your shooting phase, after he is shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of the attacks until the end of the phase. That unit can have the benefit of cover. All right, this guy's a solid gold. Stamp of approval. Defiler, you are good. He's got okay guns and good melee and is hard to kill and also strips cover from enemies. Print it, ship it. Defilers are good now. We found a way. Turns out all you had to do to make Defilers good was give them one of the game's best support abilities. We've done it. Woo! So I think realistically, these guys look better, not because of this ability, but because their gun got better and also now ignores cover. That seems pretty good, chat. I don't know about you, but it seems to me that this guy's shooting you with one fucking combi bolter and stripping cover from your battle tank. And then so like a trillion lethal strength 10 lethal hit attacks shooting at it that are like base AP2. just rips you apart, is going to be super duper sick. This Defiler seems absolutely cracked. I don't know. He's just an immolator? He's just an immolator. Except he also hits for D6 plus 1 damage, strength 16 in melee. Okay. The game's most degenerate support unit. Oh, also he's toughness 11. No, they're all toughness 11. Right? I know Soul Grinders are. Are the World Eaters ones? Oh, shit, they are. What? Wait, are Soul Grinders not toughness 10? I just assumed that they were the same as Soul Grinders. Maybe I'm like a bigot. Maybe I'm like Defiler blind. Where's my data sheet? Chaos Demons. I'm like all scuttly Chaos Crabwalkers look the same to me. I don't know. About to be canceled. Soul Grinders T11. That's what I was thinking, chats. So they are Soul Grinder pilled, I guess. That is much better. I mean, T11's pretty good. Yeah, this guy's solid. This guy's fucking solid gold. Also, he has smoke keyword. So he could be stealth permacover. Alright. Well, everybody get those Defiler stonks up. This guy looks like he's fucking awesome. Chaos Land Raider is a Land Raider. 14 models, though. 14 model transport capacity. Do you think they're going to change the Godhammer Land Raider to a 14 model transport capacity? Because it's at a 12 right now, right? You have to take a Redeemer. Yeah, it's at a 12 right now. You need a Redeemer for the 14. I like that because it lets you take the 6 Terminators in a character, which is neat. Like, you could take a whole Deathshroud brick in there. Although, not that you need to, because you could just deep strike them 6 inches and charge. Chaos Rhino. Oh, fuck. Oh, boy. Okay. All right, chat. He's fucking fire support, dude. Are you kidding me, dude? Who even needs Razorbacks? You get 10 Plague Marines with fire support out the top of this fucking guy? Oh my god. Well, it is the age of the Rhino now. These are all demons. It is indeed the age of the Rhino. Between Emperor's Children getting Assault Transport Rhinos, World Eaters getting Reactive Rhinos, and then these guys getting full rerolls. Yeah, that's fucking wild. I understand the World Eaters players now being like, well, my Codex looks bad compared to this. Yeah, of course. When the Death Guard Codex gives you -1 toughness, -1 save, and full wound rerolls, that is much better than the other thing. Yeah, this Rhino's fucking insane. I don't know. Like, we'll look at the detachments in a sec. I don't know if I give a shit about Poxwalkers and all that stuff. You just take 60 Plague Marines and Rhinos, dude. They're gonna kill the universe with Biologus Putrifiers, like lethal hits, maybe sustain hits, if they can find a source of it somewhere. Critical 5s, full wound rolls, like okay, all right, dude. And you take Lords of Virulence and they choose, and you get reroll hits. You get reroll hits of 1 and/or regular hit rerolls into 5-up critical, lethal, in also wound rerolls. They're gonna do so much fucking damage. Holy shit! Holy shit! A Rhino Conservatory for sure. Can transport Poxwalkers now? I mean, sure. I mean, I guess so. You're putting Plague Marines in this thing, but they could transport Poxwalkers for sure. All right, folks. We are going to take a peek at the detachments. I will have to take a momentary break here because I have to go to the bathroom. I have to do a Death Guard. I have to become my own Biologus Putrifier momentarily. But I will give myself. Let's go and do. I'll just give myself a little pre-stream roll. I'll give myself. We'll do 7 minutes because it's the. I set my timer for 7 hours because it's Nurgle's number. And then we'll go talk about some detachments and how we could assemble this insanely broken combination of units into something good. Yeah, I think. Wow. This Rhino datasheet being the last one kind of like blew my goddamn mind.
Ryan G donated $5 through Super Chat. Malignant Plaguecaster and Biologist Putrifier. Sass lethal on 5
the
shoot
fucking
Marines, 4 wound
Plaguecaster,
heroes
of
out to the
course,
Rhino.
dude. I like kind of chuckled at him because I was like, this guy seems whatever. But yeah, dude. Oh my god. 5-up critical, lethal sustain, and you could get rerolls and ignore cover. All right, man. Jesus. All right, give me a moment here, chat. And I'm going to be back in a sec. Cheers. We can talk about how broken these detachments end up being. We back, chat. Let's do this thing. We are back to talk about some frickin' detachments, bro. Yeah, I got a phone call. Sorry, while I was cleaning things up, got a little phone call. Had to talk to some people, but we got it all cleared up. We're good to go. Oh boy, points are going to be the judge, jury, and executioner of this. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if it's super duper cheap, I'm a little bit worried. Man, they saved the worst for last at the Rhino datasheet there. Holy fucking shit. So, yeah. So all told, we can... I mean, we'll see how many points it costs, right? But like a 10 Marines, right? With, like Hippie Hunter was pointing out, with Putrifier and Plaguecaster in a Rhino, it's probably 450 points. But you do that times 3, those guys will each one-shot whatever. And then they fight first in melee. If you take Mortarion, they can react and move back into the Rhino and do it again if you go fight them. So, like, ooh, yucky. And that's just, like, basic bitch stuff. That's just normal stuff. I guess, yeah, maybe closer to 400 points for those things. Need to be super expensive? Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully it's not super inexpensive. All right, so let's talk about some frickin' detachment rules, chat. So the Virulent Victorium. They love this word. They flipped over their word of the day calendar and they found a new one. Everything's a Vectorium now. This is just Plague Company, I believe. You can get a Nurgle Demon weapon, which gives you a 5+ critical hit. Love it. Good for basically any of the melee guys. Like, Lord of Contagion's great with that. He's 5 up lethal sustain. On his big punchy melee attacks. That's pretty good. Furnace of Plagueways is +1 strength and attack to melee weapons, and you gain devastating. Also good. Just got a lot of good stuff. Well, the Bearer's unit, Arch Contaminator, just turns you into a Custodian Guard. Fuck me, really? I guess that's not even... That's so funny, because, like, it's not even that impressive anymore. It's like, oh, what's that? You're rerolling wound rolls? Like, okay. You can also just buy a Rhino. Or just, like, I don't know, be a Lord of Virulence. Great on Deathshroud Terminators, though. They don't get, like, wound rerolls at all, so... It gives them rerolls on their Plague Spitters and their melee attack. Incredibly good. Jesus Cristo. Revolting Regeneration is a 5+ field open on anything, so you can put it on your CP discount guy. Those enhancements. Is this the best list of enhancements we've ever seen? It feels like it is. It's 3 separate, strictly offensive buffs. One of them affects your entire unit, and then a very strong defensive buff. This feels to me like there's no duds here. Any of these would be the best enhancement in like many other detachments from many other factions. And you just get them all. You can take them all. Like, it's fine. Jesus. That's crazy. That's a crazy list of enhancements. Putrid Detonation is the first stratagem. When your deadly demise vehicle or monster is destroyed, you can explode it. You automatically explode, and any enemy units that suffer mortal wounds as a result are afflicted. That's super cute. Disgustingly Resilient is exactly the same as current Disgustingly Resilient is. It gives you -1 damage in melee. Any phase now. Oh, it's any phase. Fuck. Holy shit. Okay, just kidding. I said it was exactly the same, but it's actually dramatically better. Whoa! All right. Just strict upside. All right. Huh. Okay. Plague Surge. Use it on your Warlord and extends your contagion range by 3 for your whole army. It's 2 CP. I mean, I guess that's good. 2 CP though is a lot. Although you do have a CP discount, so maybe it's fine. Disgusting or resilient? I believe it was 2. It was 2 and only fight phase, right? It was indeed 2 CP fight phase only, so it just got the ability to be used in a shooting phase, which is a huge buff. Leech Spore Eruption, and also you could use it on anything, right? Is like the important point. So you can use it to trade gunshots with people, with your Predators and your Defiler. Leech Spore Eruption. Select one enemy unit within 3 inches of a model in your command phase. And you can roll a number of d6 equal to the number of wounds your bottle has lost. For each 5 up, they take a mortal wound up to a maximum of 6, and your model regains 1 lost wound up to a maximum of 6. So the goal is like, man, this feels so bad because this is the ultimate punish. It's anything from your army, and it's the ultimate punish for underswinging. So you go into Mortarion, or you go into the Demon Prince with 5+ Feel No Pain, and you clap them for all but 1 damage. Your opponent goes, I'll pay a CP, hit you for 6, and regen 6. Yuck, dude. Obviously, it's very dicey. Like, you probably will only be getting 2 or 3 wounds out of this 90% of the time. But the fact that you can regenerate things like vehicles after your opponent comes and attacks them is fucking insane. They have to be within 3 inches of you, so they basically have to have charged you. But if they did and didn't kill you, you just punish them super hard. That's like, I mean, it's a neat effect, right? I don't even think this is going to come into play most games, but it's such a feels bad. It's like the ultimate feels bad. Oh, I already committed and didn't kill you, so I'm already probably going to die because I'm like 2 inches away from a Death Guard army. And then also you just dealt more damage to me, and also you regenerated. Like, okay, yeah. Mortarion alive on 1 wound. Yeah, roll 15 dice, get 5 wounds back, deal 5. Cool, cool, bad. Overwhelming Generosity. Use both the start of your shooting phase on a Death Guard character from your army. Select a visible enemy unit until the end of the phase. Each time a Death Guard unit from your army selects that unit as the target of ranged attacks, reroll the dice to determine how many attacks a weapon equipped by a model in that unit makes. So a character, a Lord of Virulence, this means a Lord of Virulence, chat. A Lord of Virulence spots a unit, and you get reroll for Plague Spewers and Blast Weapons. Probably is what it's going to happen. That's really good. For the number of Blast and Torrent weapons this army has, that's really good. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this stratagem? Death Guard infantry unit, targeting inflicted unit, you reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. The problem is that with everything we just discussed, this isn't even that strong of a stratagem. It's only full rerolls for a unit, but the weird part is that like 90% of the units we just talked about already have those. It's like so strong, it's superfluous. What? Oh my god! So like, for the full combo that we were talking about is like, oh, we could get like lethal sustain, critical 5s, reroll wounds, reroll 1s to hit, and ignore cover. Now, oh, I could be full rerolling the hit roll instead. Okay, cool, man. And that's like, you just get that out of Rhinos. You get that in Lord of Virulence units. Like, this can affect, like, the Plague Spewer guys, I guess. You can Plague Spewer, like, full reroll your Plague Spewer wounds on Deathshroud Terminators. That's, like, the situation. Or if you've already fucking, like, destroyed your opponent with the other units, you can then, like, you could get all the rerolls while not having to disembark a transport or whatever. But it's, like, this would be the strongest stratagem. This stratagem would be the strongest thing in any other faction. It's, like, so wild. I guess, like, in fairness, this army doesn't feel like an army that's going to engage with you from longer than 12 inches. So it's not like this is, like, you're going to be able to put this on 10 intercessors or Stern Guard veterans or something. Like, these models have to be directly adjacent to the target that they're shooting at. Which I think is it saves it a little bit, because, like, at least we're gonna do super hard damage, but we're gonna be literally right next to you. But also, we just have full rerolls on a stick. Okay. Like, I understand why this stratagem is so strong. It's because Death Guard shooty infantry are range 12, and they probably should hit really hard. But it's just like, it's conceptually so funny to look at. It's, like, so straightforward. Oh, you're afflicted? You're either within 9 inches of me or within 12 inches of me if I use this stratagem. Or I have shot you with one of the many infantry units elsewhere in my army. And suddenly, I'm just fucking reroll everything. Let's go. Wild. God.
Ryan G donated $2 through Super Chat. Also, Flyblown has a full rerolls hits strat.
Yeah, reroll hits. Like, reroll hits is less crazy. It's the wound rerolls that kills me. But also, reroll hits is really, really good for the critical 5-up combo, obviously. But yeah, that's a good call out. Day 1 patch. Looks like full-on Codex group is upon us. Yeah, we'll see what points look like for sure. It is funny looking at, like praising the Emperor's Children Codex for so long and being like, guys, this Emperor's Children Codex is really cool. It plays really interactively, and it has to, like, engage with your opponent and play this, like, really aggressive, like, finesse game plan. And then this is like, I don't know, fucking bail out of a Rhino and then reroll everything until your opponent's dead. Like, okay. Just like, all right. Like, obviously, it seems like a lot of the rumors were saying that Death Guard are going to feel much more elite now. And I think if that's the case, like right now, Death Guard are hull spamming six Rhino, Predator class battle tanks, right? They're like, hey, 2 PBCs and fucking 5 things and Mortarion and Deathshroud Terminators and everything. But if we get to the point where these units are expensive and they do pay for all this power, then obviously I think it's okay. Like, it's okay for you to be full hit and wound rerolls, critical 5s, and a million things if you cost 400 points. Like, that's fine. And so we'll see. Like, I don't want to come out and be like, broken. This Codex is broken. It is way more straightforward than World Eaters. That's for sure. And I certainly understand more why World Eaters players are like, this is kind of bullshit, because all they do is just play the point and click adventure game where their multi-guns kill everyone, and I have to play this like much way more complicated like finesse game plan with a bunch of like reactive effects and like layered movement buffs and stuff like that in order to get like any semblance of the same effect out of them. But I do think that the points are going to go a long way to determining how that looks. Death Guard being rewarded for making it to the fight. I mean, it's not that hard though. Like, you just have Rhinos. You can just be a Rhino faction. According to the back of the book, Deathshroud went up 100 points for 6. Oh, for 6. So they went up like... They only went up like 16, 17 points a model or something. Only. Yeah, we'll see if those stick. Obviously, I don't pay attention to book points cost, really. Mortarion's Hambler. At the start of the battle round, select a number of enemy units more than 12 inches away from every model in your army on the battlefield. Oh, yeah, we talked about this one earlier. You get to do an artillery strike on them, which is cute. That automatically counts them as being afflicted. Okay. So we get all of our affliction synergies against almost any 2 units in our opponent's army on the early game. That's pretty good. And if you're not within 12 inches of them, then you could just move there. So it's fine. Although, awkwardly, this is the start of the battle round. So, like, you'll be like, I'm going to afflict those 2 units. And they're like, oh, I guess I won't move them. Like, I'll hide them for this turn. So, I don't know. You really want to go first with this detachment. That feels bad. This should be starting your command phase or something. This feels like it takes away a lot of control from the Death Guard player. I don't know if I like that very much. Enhancements. You can gain Ignore Cover when targeting an afflicted enemy unit. We could do that, or we could play a Chad fucking Defiler, who's awesome. That's probably not bad anyway. Feels like kind of superfluous in this codex, though. At the start of your shooting phase until the end of the turn, add 12 inches to the characteristics of your Plague Winds weapon on a Malignant Plaguecaster. Okay. I like that this wording because it prevents you from being able to use it to Overwatch, which is cute. It also prevents you from shooting it out of the top of a Rhino at 12 inches. So I like that. It doesn't just like characteristic replace the weapon with a longer range weapon. It is only usable in certain times of the turn, which is cool. Shriekworm Familiar. Once per battle round, you can target the bear's unit with Fire Overwatch for 0. It's not duplicatable, but Death Guard Overwatch is going to be really good. This is really the Malignant Plaguecaster detachment. Jesus. Say, you have Tauren weapons? You're going to do a Tauren weapon? Do the Tauren weapon thing. Tendrilless Emissions. While you're within 3 inches of one or more friendly Death Guard vehicles, you gain Lone Operative. Each time one of those vehicles makes a ranged attack and targets any enemy unit visible to the bearer, reroll wound roll 1. Ooh, that's cool. That's really cool. So you have to be near them and you like guide them to get wound rerolls. That's a really good strategy. That's a really good enhancement. And you become like a little tech marine. You're like a little tech marine guy. I love him. I play the shit out of this thing. That's neat. That's a super neat enhancement. Stratagems, Blighted Land. Use at the end of your movement phase for 2 CP. Target Death Guard vehicle from your army. Select a terrain feature within 24 inches invisible to it. Until the start of your next turn, enemy units are inflicted while they are within 3 inches of that terrain feature. Probably too expensive for what you get, but man, that's a fun effect. He bombards the terrain feature with like plaguey stuff. I love it. That's cool. Relentless Grind. Move horizontally through terrain features with vehicles. All right, always good. Those are incredible. Let's go. Drawn to Despair. Till the end of the phase, each time a model in a unit makes an attack that targets a visible enemy, you can reroll the hit roll. On any unit. Okay. Oh, it has to be within your opponent's deployment zone. Oh, okay. And it has to be visible. All right. That is actually kind of difficult to trigger. You can do it. It's actually kind of sick if you're like... Although there's a little bit of anti-synergy. You can get like reroll hit rolls if you are... If you play like the Virulence, like like Belly Terminator brick, and you like drop it on people, you can shoot them in their own deployment zone and get the bonuses. Like you can find ways, like avenues of line of sight, and it's good if you're trading shots with other like long range vehicles. I think a lot of times this actually won't trigger. A lot of little hoops, which is good. Font of Filth. This isn't the Font of Filth, by the way, chat. This is Conduit. The Font of Filth, I'm sure it looks a lot. It's like Comic Sans, probably. Usable on a Death Guard vehicle from your army that has not been selected to shoot. You gain Assault. Okay, love it. Eye Stinger Swarm. You target an objective marker visible to it, or you target a vehicle. You select an objective marker visible to the vehicle. Afflicted enemies within range of the marker must take a battle shock test. I mean, I guess it's okay. No penalties in the battle shock test to you. And it can't stack? All right. Last is Stinking Mire. Usable at the start of your opponent's charge phase. You target a vehicle, and your opponents get -2 to charge it. That's really good. Definitely not the same level of power as we saw out of Virulent Victorium. Like, what does a Death Guard vehicle army look like? It's some number of Defilers and some number of Predator Destructors, I guess. And then, like, you can get hit rerolls on your Rhino units if they go, like, if they push forward, and you can move the Rhinos through terrain features. And then make enemies -2 to charge the Rhinos. Yeah, okay. I'll buy it. Is it as good as just fucking reroll everything all the time? It doesn't feel like it, but maybe. That one also has a defensive strat that this one doesn't have, although this -2 to charge thing's really strong. It's also only 1 CP. Thanks for explaining that a font is also a fountain, chat. That's the joke. Good stuff, guys. Full of heavy bolter, missile launcher, Helbrute. Oh, sure. Yeah, you can put on Helbrutes in it. Is it heavy bolter Helbrutes, really? Or is it twin las cannon Helbrutes with +1 wound? I guess you don't need the twin las cannon if you are already rerolling ones because you have the Virulence guy. Although he's not going to be everywhere. So it's like a combination of Predators, like 1x Defiler, and then like a bunch of Helbrutes. Yeah, I like the Helbrutes, assuming they're not like crazy. Bunch of Blight Haulers, yeah. Champions of Contagion. Start of the battle round, you can select one of the plagues listed on Nurgle's gift until the end of the battle. It is your chosen plague instead of the previously chosen plague. Oh, that's neat. So we can flip between like the -1 save and the -1 to hit, potentially. That's, again, like really good if you're going first. Or even, I guess, like, I don't know. Like, you could potentially... Like, you know when you need to be defensive versus offensive. Like, you don't necessarily need +1 AP when you're on... when you can't see anything. So you just, like, flip it into -1 to hit. And then run forward. And then on your turn, you flip it. And then the next battle round, you flip it into +1 AP, potentially. Definitely not quite as spicy as the other detachment abilities. Honestly... The detachment abilities feel like kind of whatever, to be honest. Like, OBSEC is good, right? That's a good detachment ability. The Affliction thing is, like, fine. This thing seems like fine. None of the abilities are, like, crazy. It's mostly the stratagems that are and the enhancements that are looking like wild right now. Is it another Malignant Plaguecaster only enhancement? Biologus Putrifiers can take final ingredient once per battle after the bearer's unit has fought one or more character models that are destroyed. If one or more character models are destroyed as a result of those attacks, select a plague until the end of the battle. The enemy While an enemy is inflicted, they have the effect of the selected plague in addition to any other plague. A Putrifier has to destroy a character unit in melee, though. Kind of a tall ask. Not that they won't, because they have the heavy plague weapons at lethal 5-ups, but it's like not going to happen until about around 3 or 4. So you're only going to really like benefit from that towards the late game. Visions of Virulence. While an enemy is enfeebled by the bear's Pestilent Fallout ability, it's also afflicted. Honestly, it's probably afflicted anyway, so that feels like kind of whatever. Needle of Nurgle. Plague Surgeons can return up to D3 instead of 1. That's pretty good. Although you got to bring the Plague Surgeon, and that guy's kind of whatever. Cornucophagus. Declare battle formation select a plague until the end of the battle when an enemy is contagion range of the bearer. The enemy also has the effect of that plague in addition to any other, and it's Lord of Poxes only. He does have the expanded plague ability, but I don't really know what we would be choosing. I'm super excited to choose there. Strats are 5-up criticals, an attached Death Guard unit. That's solid. Attached Death Guard unit. Do we do Yeah, that's like good for Deathshroud and melee. That feels Terminator pilled. I feel like most of the attached Plague Marine units will have Biologus Putrifires anyway. So don't know if you do that. But the Terminators with characters feels really strong with the 5-up critical. Like you can get a Deathshroud Terminator unit to 5-up critical lethal sustain. It's like, okay. Oh boy, spicy meatball. Malignant's magnified, 2 CP, shooting your fight phase. If you target an enemy below starting strength, reroll hit and wound rolls. Just everything can reroll hit and wound rolls. 2 CP though is a lot, and it requires you to it requires you to target a specific enemy. Kind of a lot to jump through. Grotesque Fortitude. Shooting your fight phase after an enemy has selected targets. Targeted Death Guard attached unit from your army is selected to target one or more of the attacking unit's attacks. It gets +2 toughness. So DST can be T9. Blightlords can be T9. That puts most heavy infantry sweepers on 4s or 5s. So against like plasma cannons, that gives you -1 to be wounded essentially. Like regular plasma cannons are strength 8. Like heavy incinerators are strength 9. So either one of those would be -1. Plague Marines go to T6. T8, which is not the biggest breakpoint in the universe. But there are going to be some situations in which that works. This is definitely all of the enhancements are pointing towards Foetid Virion stuff, but like, man, this feels like the Terminator detachment for sure. Rabid Infusion. Start of the fight phase, Death Guard unit from your army that has 2 character models gets fights first. Okay. So you don't necessarily need the Foul Blightspawn in order to gain fight first, which is neat. Mobile Vector. Usable in your movement phase before the reinforcement step. Death Guard character unit from your army, not leading a unit. Select one other friendly Death Guard unit, excluding battle shots and attached, that already have 2 leader or character units leading it within 2 inches and 5 inches horizontally or vertically, excuse me. Your unit attaches as a leader. Change its starting strength accordingly. Okay. I don't know. Is the benefit here that we could attach multiple? No, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I guess it's like if your unit dies, you can reattach your character. This is like a shoulder the burden kind of deal, right? Like, it feels really, really super duper corner case. I don't really know what the most common play pattern for that strat would be. Death's Heads, Biologus Putrifier. Not been selected to shoot. You select one enemy unit within 8 inches invisible to your unit. So at the start of your next turn, the unit has the effect of all plagues. throw the big plague bomb at them. I mean, they're already 8 inches of you, so they're getting between 1 and 2 plagues already. But you can, like, being able to give them -1 to hit and +1 AP is, like, also always good for sure. Yeah, it requires stuff that your character can lead. So it requires you to, like, you can't multi-attach non-Foetid Virion stuff. You can't attach to units that you couldn't normally attach to. So I think, like, realistically, it's only good if, for whatever reason, you took characters and didn't start them attached, or the character's unit died and you could attach them to a new unit. But it's not really often how 40k plays out. You need those guys to go do stuff, and you don't usually, like, bring extra units that you're not attaching it to. Although maybe, like, we talked about how the little 5-man Plague Marine squads might be good, just to go shoot Affliction onto people. And just having, like, being able to attach characters into them whenever your big combat bricks die might be okay. So I don't know. I think that might be the most common use case. This feels like for sure the detachment where we're playing Terminators, though. Like, all these 3 stratagems are great for them. Especially, like, 2 CP rerolls, but if you're charging a Deathshroud Terminator at something, you are probably shot it with your spewers beforehand, so they are almost certainly below starting strength to begin with. Like, every one of your combat units also has guns, like, pretty good guns on it, because that's just how Death Guard roll. Like, Death Guard are kind of like jacks of all trades as long as it is shooting and, like, fighting you within 12 inches of them. So, like, almost anything that you're charging is going to have taken damage from one of the things in your army. And so I feel like this stratagem is actually, like, really potentially really strong. Whether or not you need it with all the damage that this army can do is, like, maybe I'm not sure, but the detachment abilities kind of feels like whatever. It's actually, like, kind of a nothing detachment ability, to be honest. Good strats, though. Tallyman Summoners is the demon detachment. You can take up to 1,000 points of Plague Legion stuff in a 2,000 point army. Well, a Plague Legion unit from your army is within 7 inches of one or more Death Guard units. It gains Nurgle's Gift. Okay, cool. So they start to project contagions. In addition, well, a Death Guard unit from your army is within 7 inches of one or more Plague Legion units from your army. It gets +3 inches to range to its contagion. So the demons get little contagion auras, and the Death Guard get bigger contagion auras when they're next to each other. That's cool. But again, I guess, like, additional 3 inches of contagion is, like, kind of a big deal. You get up to 12 inches on Battle Round 3, which is the point where basically every attack ends up being inside contagion. Especially because, like, on Battle Round 3, you're usually fighting. Enhancements, Beckoning Blight. Each time a Plague Legion unit from your army is set up on the battlefield using Deep Strike, it goes wholly within 12 inches of the bearer. If it is set up wholly within 12 inches of the bearer, it can be set up anywhere that is more than 6 inches horizontally away from all enemy models instead of more than 9. So we can nesting doll out our demons. Fucking okay. And it's also repeatable. It just keeps happening. So we can do this on, like, Terminator characters that are deep striking. We can do it on, like, our demon princes that are running up in the middle. And then just dropping great unclean ones on people. Okay. Seems good. Fell Harvester, +2 attacks and melee. All right. Straightforward. I appreciate it. Entropic Knell. Great unclean one only. In the battle shock step of your opponent's command phase, each enemy unit within 6 inches of the bearer that is below starting strength takes a battle shock test. Okay, whatever. That ability is just whatever. It's like so mediocre. I mean, I guess it's at -1, but I don't know, just kill him. Just make him dead. Then they don't have to take Battle Shock. Tome of Bounteous Blessings. Each time a Plague Legion unit within 12 inches of the bearer takes a Battle Shock test, add 1 to the test. Nice. If the test is passed, one model in the unit regains up to D3 lost wounds. It's Malignant Plaguecasters only, though. This feels like it wants to be on a Demon Prince. It basically gives you Shadow of Chaos back on your own units. So you gain +1 to the test. If the test is passed, you get D3 wounds back. If you're battle line, you get D3 models back. I mean, that's like good, right? But then you have to take this like awkward Malignant Plaguecaster who's operating in this like support capacity. And only for the situations where Battle Shock tests matter. So I'm not 100% sure that's going to be played. We'll see. Stratagems. Persistent Pests. Nurgling unit from your army that was just destroyed. You could bring it back for 1 CP. Oh, boy. Okay. So for like basically free, we can put 9 Nurglings in front of our opponent's army and then just regenerate them when they kill them. Okay. And then potentially 6-inch deep strike them and then just charge and come up my opponent's entire army again. Fucking Jesus. All right. Well, sold. Twist my arm, why don't you? I guess I'll take 9 Nurgling Swarms. Oh my god. Clutching Corruption. Death Guard unit from your army that has not been selected to fight. Each time it makes an attack that targets an enemy unit in engagement range of 1 or more Plague Legion units, you can roll the hit roll. So it's okay. I imagine that you're going to be like jamming grid and clean ones in your opponent's face, so that seems pretty good. All is Rot. Usable in your shooting phase. A Plague Legion unit from your army that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. The enemy unit is not considered to be within engagement range of your unit for the purposes of selecting targets for ranged weapons until the end of the phase. Each time an enemy model loses a wound, well, that model's unit is within an engagement range of your unit. Roll a d6 on a 5-up. You take a mortal. Okay, so you can shoot it at melee with your grid and clean ones probably, or your Nurgling, your huge Nurgling swarms. This is like the Nurgling swarm detachment for sure. Fleshy Avalanche. Oh, you can move through terrain features with monsters. Sick. Plague Legion monsters only, so Grand and Clean ones can go through terrain. Except they're really slow, so that actually doesn't really matter so often. It's only monsters, it doesn't work on Plague Drones, and your monsters only move 7, so like... can't really go that far. Avatars of Decay, a Plague Legion unit from your army, an enemy within 6 inches of your unit, that enemy unit is afflicted. This really only matters... if you don't have a Death Guard model nearby to trigger the detachment ability. So if all your Death Guard guys died, you can pay a CP to inflict -1, like -1 save and -1 toughness on the target, which is a good buff. But 90% of the time, you're going to have this buff anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Mire Slick. Your opponent, usable in your opponent's movement phase, and an enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, is selected to fall back. 1 Plague Legion unit from your army that was within engagement range of the enemy unit is selected until the end of the phase. While an enemy unit is within engagement range, it must take a leadership test. If it's failed, that unit must remain stationary instead. This detachment wants you to play 9 Nurglings so bad. Please, sir, play 1,000,000 Nurglings. Just all Nurglings. Play nothing but Nurglings. We want more Nurglings. You can shoot into melee with the Nurglings. You can force enemies to re-engage the Nurglings. The Nurglings can contagion people. The the Nurglings can respawn. It's all fucking Nurglings. Oh, you engage the Nurglings and then you charge them with Deathshroud Terminators? You can give the Deathshroud Terminators hit rerolls? You just play Nurglings. All you want to do is play Nurglings forever. Fair enough. Nurglings are in the book, right? Am I crazy? Oh, the Death Guard Nurglings are only up to 6? Womp. Alright, we'll play 6s then. Honestly, 6s is fine. Oh yeah, they're here. Nurgling! Look at that little fucking guy. Fucking guy. Only up to 6. But the Nurglings can give you -1 to hit. You can chain them to get Contagion, so they become lethal hits AP1, and you're -1 toughness. You can stack -1 toughness with the Guos -1 toughness. You could also potentially make the Guos -1 to be hit within Contagion aura of them, so like within 6 to 9 inches. They are only like 4 up invul and 6 up feel no pain, so they're not the hardest thing in the world to kill. But when you start stacking Contagion on all their attacks, it gets kind of like crazy. Like they're swinging. If they're reducing your toughness by 2 because of Gift of Nurgle's Rot and the Contagion, they're swinging essentially strength like essentially strength 12-ish, AP 3, D6 +1 damage lethal, and their sweep is like strength 8. No. Strength, almost closer to strength 10. Strength 9? Strength 9 or 10? Nice. That's pretty good. Wait, the Nurglings have a 5+ invuln? No fucking way. Oh my god, they do. You think that's a typo, chat? Holy shit. Oh, that's so good, dude. Oh my god. It's just the most obnoxious fucking thing in the world to kill. Ah! And you can make them -1 to be hit at shooting if they are within Contagion of you. Just like potentially 9 inches. And +1 toughness. T4 5 up invuln with 36 wounds for like 100 points or whatever, 90 points or something. Oh my god. And then they regenerate. You regenerate 6 of them. Yeah, you just like windmill slam 18 Nurglings, right? There's like no way you don't in that detachment. That's so silly. What the fuck? It does seem like Nurglings all the way down. I did not grok that they got a 5+ influence save. Oh man, dude. Incredible. Should we continue our discussion of the Vectoria? With the Shamble Rot Vectorium? We talked about this one at the start of the during the spoiler stream. They gain additional Poxwalkers over the course of the game based on the battle size. So Strike Force games, you get 3 Poxwalkers in Battle Round 2, 3, 4, and they gain Battle Line as well. While you Noxious Blightbringer is leading a Poxwalkers unit. Oh, I didn't realize that he could lead Poxwalkers. Is that good? You lose Infiltrate, but you gain +1 movement? That doesn't seem very good. But maybe it's okay. Oh, what have I done? You get +1 objective control characteristics. You go to OC2 and +1 to leadership tests. Lord of the Walking Pox. If you are leading a Poxwalker unit and is in strategic reserve, you can set it up 1 round earlier. Oh no, treat the current battle round as the 3rd battle round. Oh shit. That's a much better wording than the previous versions. So that means that bottom 1 or top 1, you can put them in your opponent's deployment zone. Not that you'll have the opportunity to do so. But that is a much more reasonable version of this ability than the old versions, which were like treated as 1 or later, which was always kind of confusing. The Poxwalkers are not battle line unless they're in this detachment, in which case they are. It's like the cult detachment from, or the jackal detachment from World Eaters. Sorrow Siphon. The bearer is a Malignant Plaguecaster while it's leading a Poxwalker unit. Add +1 damage to the characteristic of its Plague Wind weapon. Each time it makes one or more attacks with the Plague Wind weapon after the bearer's unit has resolved its attacks, D3 bodyguard models from the bearer's unit are destroyed. So it becomes damage 3. But you can put it... Okay. So the fact that we can put the Poxwalkers in a Rhino makes sense now, chat. Because we can do fire support stuff with the guy out of the with the fire support, with the Rhino fire support. That actually feels pretty okay. Because he becomes 3 damage, right? D6 plus 3, AP2, 3 damage. Oh no, it's D3 damage, so it becomes D3 plus 1. That's actually kind of sweet. And you get sustained hits 1 on your torrent. Let's go. The world's best leadership ability. Woo! That's actually kind of neat. Death Guard unit, while the bearer is leading a unit, add +1 to the toughness characteristic of Poxwalker models in the unit. So you go to T5. Okay. That's also good. You're just an orc boy. Alright. Okay. I wish any of these characters could get fucking Infiltrate. That would make a lot of these better. The Noxious Blightbringer could double attach, yeah. So you could put 2. You could like put 2 on maybe. If you did like, you could do like early setup and +1 toughness potentially. Stratagems. This is a brick of text. Jesus. Grip of the Walking Pox. Targeted in the fight phase after an enemy unit has selected targets. One Poxwalker unit from your army that was selected as the target. After the attacking unit has fought, roll a d6 for each model in your unit that was destroyed. On a 6, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound. If your unit is not destroyed after the attacking units have fought, enemy models destroyed as a result of the stratagem count as models destroyed by an attack made by a walk model in your unit. This stratagem is not very good. Let's say, for example, that we lose 19 Poxwalkers in a unit. The average return is 3. We do 3 mortal wounds. This timing should be after they've... I don't know when the timing should be. I think the timing should be after the attacks are resolved, even if the Poxwalker unit is destroyed, because you get to see how much damage you take. The problem here is that like there's a not unreasonable chance that your opponent just doesn't do anything and you waste a CP. And even if they kill the entire Poxwalker unit, like you're only doing 3 mortals on average. Yeah, that's whatever. Who cares about that? Smeared with filth. Gross. Yuck. Love fighting an enemy who's been smeared. Usable in the fight phase with Poxwalker unit from your army is just destroyed. You can just target that unit with this stratagem, even though it was just destroyed. Select an enemy unit that made 1 or more attacks that targeted your unit. Till the end of the battle, the enemy unit is afflicted. They just like, get pasted on their armor and they're stuck. It's stuck on them. They're like, ew, get it off. I'm covered in it. That's actually really cute. I feel like if the goal is to flood the board with Poxwalkers, we're mostly going to be contagioning enemies anyway. So I'm not entirely sure how often that comes into play, but we'll see. Gnawing Hunger. You res Poxwalkers with the strat? Yeah, you might get 3 Poxwalkers back. Like, I don't know. like the worst possible scenario is that you take 19 damage. You average 3 regenerated Poxwalkers. I'm not sure that's going to change the course of the game. Maybe. And that's the highest upside, is that you deal 3 damage and get 3 Poxwalkers. Gnawing Hunger. Usable in your command phase. 1 Poxwalker unit from your army gets +1 move, +1 attack, and +1 strength. That's pretty good. So if you combo that with the Noxious or with the Bell guy, their move 7. It's not a ton of movement, but it's definitely not terrible. Hidden amongst the dead, you can deep strike if you are not an attached unit. Oh, that's cool, but we can use that on our friendly boys over here, our numberless hordes. So it's usable in your command phase. It gets added in strategic reserves, which means you're then eligible in that subsequent reinforcement step to target them to give them deep strike. So for a CP, any of those new Poxwalker units that you're regenerating can just deep strike in your opponent's deployment zone. And those are not placed in battle formations at the start, so you can hold them until like battle round 5 and then just drop them in your opponent's deployment zone for secondaries. The secondary game in this detachment is actually probably sick. I bet this is like, you want to play a scoring game with Death Guard? You don't just want to like sit there and take damage and hope for the best? Play this fucking detachment. You're all over the place, dude. Shock and Horror. After a Death Guard unit from your army ends a charge move, enemy takes a battle shock test. Okay. Cool. Sick. Let's go. Shambling Wall. Usable in your opponent's shooting phase after an enemy has selected its targets. Oh, this is the thing where Poxwalkers just like vaporize if they shoot your Death Guard units. Yeah, that's fine. What we don't have is a regenerative strat for Poxwalkers. We don't have like add D3 Poxwalkers back to the army. We don't have like Poxwalkers but go back into reserve. We just have make new Poxwalkers. But I mean, we'll see how expensive 120 Poxwalkers is. If the zombie horde strat is real, like maybe it's okay. I think a lot of armies have the capacity to kill 120 Poxwalkers, though. I don't think that 120 Poxwalkers is like wildly resilient, especially because none of this stuff makes them harder to kill, right? Just what kind of makes them faster. You can be -1 to hit thanks to contagions. I guess only the talisman for +1 toughness, which is good. That's actually probably sick. The Poxwalker datasheet regenerates if they kill people. Each time a Poxwalker model destroys an enemy model. So it regenerates if they kill someone with their 2 5-up weapon skill 3 strength 3 melee attacks. I don't know how many people you're killing with that, chat. It's not many. The thing where Typhus can regenerate guys is sick. And I guess, all right, here's what we could do, right? We could put Typhus into a unit. And then we could also put the +1 movement guy into a unit. And then we could give the Poxwalkers... Where's the +1 movement guy? Here he is. Because he can dual attach. And then we can give +1 toughness. So we can be -1 to hit in melee and also +1 toughness and also +1 movement. And then we can spend the strat for +1 movement. +1 move, attack, and strength. So this dude... God damn it, I keep clicking on the wrong guy. This dude becomes strength 6 or something. Strength 5.
Ryan G donated $10 through Super Chat. Sus, lethal on Poxwalkers. I actually think Poxwalker bricks are better in Flyblown. You get Scout 5, Stealth, Pistol Strat, Charge Mortals, Lone Op, 6-inch Pilins.
Thanks, TTS. Thanks for cutting my boy Ryan off. Thanks for the super chat, Ryan. Yeah, the Scout is going to be huge for them for sure. Obviously, you're limited on the number you can take, and they don't have all these like enhancement synergies. But I don't think I disagree that Flybone Hopes I think is good. What was I going to say? I don't remember. I guess we can you can still you can attach in Flybomb, but you still gain Scout, right? Because the Scout applies to all your infantry, but you just lose the Infiltrate. So the Typhus unit is maybe better in Flybomb too, because then you're -1 to hit in all phases. Oh, excuse me. Oh boy. Whoa. It's been a long stream, Jesus. We're almost at 3 hours. Let's go. The Plaguecaster. Where's that fucker at? He grants the sustains. I don't know if I'm that excited about sustains on Poxwalkers, though, to be fair. Because, the actual attack you're sustaining is not that exciting. He can grant... he can't double attach with Typhus. I guess we can only double attach with the... Blightbringer, the Noxious guy. But we could make, one super brick that's, really tough. And also, +1 attack onto the characters in there is kind of sweet. Typhus getting +1 attack and strength is actually, legit. Yeah, I don't know. I'm actually kind of lukewarm on the Poxwalker detachment. It doesn't... I'm certainly willing to be proven wrong, but it just feels like it's kind of like a regular horde mode. There's a ballot chest. There's so many guys. What are you gonna do about all the guys? Ooh, well, I hope putting half of your army in the middle of the table is enough. We'll see. Especially, I think the thing that is kind of the killer for me here is that they can no longer stack characteristic modifiers. So previously they could give you throwing Death Guard idiots at you was good because they could give you -1 weapon skill and then affect you with a -1 to hit thing. So Poxwalkers engaging your whole army. Oh, the Poxwalkers have touched all your tanks. What are you going to do? You hit on 5s now. And suddenly you actually can't kill them. But it doesn't work like that anymore. So now you're just all fucking hit on 2s or 3s or 4s and reroll everything and probably kill a trillion guys. So I don't know. Maybe it's a stat check that's just too difficult. I'm not sure that I'm entirely seeing it, but it could be good. Missing a command phase regeneration stat, yeah, for sure. Especially because they're OC1, right? A lot of times they're going to be I've moved up and touched the objective, and you're my combi weapon lieutenant takes it from them, and then they're I'll move up to charge that guy, and he's I run away, and then they oh, I box card my charge, I still engaged him, and he's I killed 4 Poxwalkers, and you didn't do any damage, and they're oh, okay. Well, I'm having a great time right now. You're using -1 save, so then they're not -1 to be hit? It doesn't... I guess so. A full brick of Poxwalkers, a full 20-man engaging with everyone, which is probably never going to happen, is attacking 40 times? So you're, literal best case scenario, you're playing, maybe 7 EP1 lethals, and then, maybe 2 more from your... call it 3 more. So best case scenario is that they do 10 AP1 wounds into you. So they might kill 2 Space Marines on on the magical Christmas land of everyone gets to attack, your opponent uses no defensive strats or whatever. You didn't have to multi-engage anything. Yeah, I don't know. That's the problem with horde stuff in 40k is they can't they can't overpower the horde data sheets because they become too strong, obviously. If Poxwalkers just killed you, then there would be no reason not to play them. So they have to be super weak, but the issue, and I actually think this is a pet peeve of mine in 40k is mechanics and the kind of legacy mechanics that they have, is the fact that everyone attacks every fight phase. And I really don't like that. And it makes it so that armies like this don't actually like slow you down very much, because all they're doing is letting you attack them during your own turn. So that you basically just get 2 rounds of attacking them for every 1 round they're going to, like, you know, they're going to be... Like, the Death Guard player is going to move up and shoot you for a turn, and then charge you, and then you get a round of attacking, and then it goes to their turn, and then they get a round of attacking again. So you're like, why am I doing this? if I'm not inflicting meaningful damage, or I'm not, like, restricting their movement. Which I think, to be fair, this detachment is doing. And that's the one benefit that it has. Like, the Poxwalkers will disappear very quickly, I think. Love to play against it with Custodians. Oh my god, yeah. They're like, haha, I've moved up, Custodian Guardsman. What will you do? And you're like, kill 20 Poxwalkers in your turn, I guess. And you're like, oh, well, dang. Fair enough. Womp. The Poxwalker ability, is it models in the unit, including leaders? No, it's only Poxwalker models. The only Poxwalkers can make new Poxwalkers. Poxwalkers and Typhus's special ability. His, oops, Jesus. Poxwalker model. So Typhus's special ability can regen his unit, and that unit I think is good, right? But the other Poxwalker units, I don't know. It's just like it's a tempo play thing. But the problem is that you're getting this cool tempo play by taking 1 million Poxwalkers to pin your opponent, but there's a pretty reasonable chance your opponent can fight their way out of it, and then you're spending half your army to like not do that. I feel like you just play Poxwalkers in any other detachment, and then you call it good. Wind Rider host will like drop half the army in one turn, yeah. And in fairness, like I think the maximum Poxwalkers, like 150 Poxwalkers, is probably only half your army. So there's still 1,000 points of Death Guard dudes doing stuff, right? But if the new points values are correct and the Death Guard units are relatively expensive, that's probably not that many that many models, right? It's like a couple battle tanks and a Deathshroud Terminator unit or something. So it's not like the army's... I don't want to make it sound like the army's doing nothing on the crackback, but it's definitely... You know, Poxwalker hordes are definitely not like the most difficult to kill thing in the universe. Mortal Wound on Death Strat reminds you of the 9th edition strat for Tyranids when killing Hormagaunts and Termagants. It's identical, right? Obviously, like you didn't get Termagants back. There was an 8th edition one that was like atrociously bad, I remember. Caustic Blood. Oh, so it was Caustic Blood was each time a Tyranid model in a unit is destroyed on a 6, the attacking unit suffers 1 mortal wound. That's anything though. Did they have the same one for? And that was a trash strat in 8th edition when you could take units of 30. It was like basically unplayable. What just happened? Oh, I went back, I think. I want to say that there was a Tyranid one that was like engagement range only. It was like really bad. Fight phase. Acid Blood. Oh yeah. Each time a model on a hive tendril unit loses a wound. On a 5+, the enemy unit, after the enemy has finished making its attack, suffers 1 mortal, up to a maximum of 3. But that you could use on anything. So you could use that on big monsters and stuff. Yeah, it was definitely the one in the 8th edition one where it was 6s only. It is literally identical, except that this strat regenerates, but you have less models in your unit. But it's like, who cares? Like, those stratagems are not good. That's just like a waste of your command points. All right. Let's move on to the last one. The Death Lord's Chosen. It's very angsty. Detachment rule. In your opponent's command phase, roll 2d6 for each afflicted enemy unit, subtracting 1 from the result if the unit is below half strength. If the result is 6 or less, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Weird. Okay. So it's a 7. I'm at a level. I think this is like an absolute fuck ton of mortal wounds. Because it happens after your turn, so it's after you've moved and charged. And assuming that, like, you have 9-inch contagion auras, like, you're getting the entire middle of the table. Basically, like, all of No Man's Land on a good board state is within 9 inches of a Death Guard unit. So, like, you're probably hitting, like, 6 or 7 units. And it's a 6 or less. So it's like a 30% to hit them. If they're below half strength, it becomes a little worse than a coin flip. So you're probably hitting for like 2 or 3 mortal wounds each command phase, but only on route around 3 onwards. And it is like pulse. It's like pulsed, or like distributed mortals, which are kind of like low impact. So maybe it's not that good, but it does feel. This actually feels like a kind of a lot. You're rolling that test a lot of times. In some board states, it's like doing a damaging shadow in the warp like every turn or every round. It's actually interesting. Okay, Face of Death is the first enhancement. You get banned for being a snuff film. You get at the start of the fight, phase, you should be engaged your range, take a battle shock. All right, go fuck yourself. Incredible. Vile Vigor. While Bear is leading a unit, add +1 to the movement characteristic of models in that unit and reroll advance and charge rolls made for that unit. Okay, so we're move 6 now. That's good. Warp Rot Talisman, Terminator only. Once per battle at the end of your opponent's turn. If the Bearer's unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it and place it from the battlefield into strategic reserve. Okay. All right. Okay, that's very good. So we can like drop a Virulent, the Lord of Virulence guy, like nuke a unit, because as we did the math, those guys can kill a vehicle like by themselves, and then assuming that we put them in a safe position and they don't get killed on the crackback, they pick up and then they drop again the next turn and they do it again. All right. Helm of the Fly King. You can't be targeted by ranged attacks unless the attacking model is within 18. That would be better if your units were faster. This is a good ability, but it's probably lost on Terminators a little bit. Like, what you want to be able to do is, like, do rapid ingress stuff and keep yourself out of range, I think. But, like, you know, like, maybe you're just on the table, like, foot's locking up. But then you're going to be within 18 inches of your opponent's units anyway, because you're super close. The way that these measure is always weird, too. It doesn't reduce their range to 18. It means that the attacking model must be within 18. So you measure from between the closest 2 models in each unit, or the closest 2 points in the models you're measuring from, to the closest model in the Terminator unit. Which means oftentimes they're drawing range and line of sight to a different guy, but the 18-inch like anti-shooting aura to the closer guy, even if he's behind a wall or something, and it actually becomes really easy to play around. So this is like probably not that exciting. I know a lot of people cut this enhancement out of a lot of their Flyblown host lists because that also has one as long as you're on an objective, I think. Enhancement or stratagems. Start of any phase, you can increase the contagion range of models in your unit by 3. That's very good. So you could drop a Lord of Virulence and pay in the shooting phase to put the enemy unit in affliction of the Lord of Virulence unit, even with no support. If you're at battle round 3 and it's a 9-inch aura, then it can go to 12 and you can get them. Very strong. Grim Reapers. Terminator unit from your army that has not been selected to fight until the end of the phase. Each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles. Okay. You can reroll the hit roll. All right. Reroll hits against infantry is very good. Oh, it's also fight phase only. All right. Okay. That's so that we can fight our way out of jams with Blightlord Terminators, probably. Undying Spite. You get a 4+5 on death on Terminators. Okay. Signal Pox. Select an objective within 30 inches invisible to a Lord of Virulence. Till the start of your next turn, while an enemy unit is within range of that objective marker, the unit is afflicted. Objective marker invisible to a Lord of Virulence in your own command phase. And it's only your command phase. You can't use it in your opponent's command phase. Whatever. That's probably mid at best. Mortarion's Teachings. Terminating from your army that has not been selected to shoot gains Assault and Heavy. Assault on little Plagueburst gauntlet things is pretty good. The little Plague Spewer gauntlets. Heavy feels like kind of whatever. You want your Terminators to be moving. You never want Terminators to stand still. They're not fast enough. Sickening Impact. You can do mortal wounds in the charge. Hell yeah, let's go. It is models in your unit that are within engagement range of the enemy, but it does mortals on a 2+, which is actually really good. Yeah, that's a good strat. You can't do so you can't do this strat in your opponent's command phase. Otherwise, it would be good. It's usable only in yours. That's why it's blue. Blue means it's your turn. Because like if you could drop the Lord of Virulence, do stuff, and then ping like drop it out of Deep Strike, do a bunch of stuff, and then ping an objective to then hit them with the Affliction Mortals, that would be cool. But it doesn't work that way. Typhus can give the Poxwalkers a Terminator keyword, too. Oh, that's true. That's incredibly funny. Yeah, I guess actually Typhus gives Poxwalkers all this stuff. Reroll hit rolls on infantry. Wait, that's actually sick. Wait, that's really good. You can get hit rerolls to lethal hit people. Sold. So done. Let's go. That's cool. I like that. I like it. It's a 20 dice rolling mortal wounds. Ah. Incredible. Incredible stuff. So is this better than the Champion detachment for Terminators? So the Champion detachment gives you... I don't really care about the detachment ability. It's kind of whatever. It gives you 5-up criticals any phase. It gives full rerolls any phase. And it gives +2 toughness any phase. And this one gives you the mortal wound thing, which is kind of neither here nor there. I think that's not really relevant to the conversation. You get extended contagion, hit rerolls in melee against infantry, fight on death, impact. I kind of feel like I'm into this detachment more than the other one. I guess the enhancements are better in the Death Lord's Chosen. Like up down on Lords of Virulence is great. +1 movement is okay. Yeah, I don't know if I'm super into this detachment. I think the detachment ability is really cool. I actually think it's going to be way more relevant than people give it credit for. But I don't know if the strats are really all that. So I guess Which one am I into? Honestly, the stratagems, like, I guess Mortarion's Hammer, letting you go through walls is cool. Plus, like, additional affliction is also always good. Like, you can advance and you can go through walls with vehicles, and that's pretty solid. And I think the vehicles are going to be a big part of the game plan here. Like, I think Plague Marine squads, like, attached Plague Marine squads and Rhinos is just, like, chef's kiss. They do so much fucking damage, and they're going to be OC2, and they're going to be good both in melee and shooting. They're going to be difficult to engage with because they're going to have anti-advance auras. They're going to be hard to charge. What we did lose is we lost, like... and I'm actually wondering... I'm curious that we didn't see... I don't see a bunch of, like... Death Guard players, like, freaking out. It's like, there's no, like, Cloud of Flies. There's no real easy defensive strats. There's the +2 toughness one in that other detachment. In the, like, Foetid Virulent detachment. Which is good, but there's and this one is like -1 damage, but it's 2 CP. But this gives you reroll attack volume. I kind of feel like this is really good. Like, we still stay with the Plague Company detachment. Also, it has maybe the best set of enhancements in the entire game. So, like, the Plague Company detachment's fucking awesome. I think I like this detachment for the strats. The other ones feel like a little bit kind of whatever. Oh, what's up, kitty? Oh, man. My cat just, I think he just jumped on me from a nap. And she's the warmest thing in this entire room. She is like a furnace. What have you been doing, kitty? It has been warm today. I have my AC on. But it's pretty cool in the room. The AC on's like kind of full blast. -1 damage, both shooting and fight phases is we talked about that. It's much better for sure. Especially with the Demon Prince letting you discount it, I think that's going to be a very reasonable stratagem to use pretty often. So I think that's like a big consideration. I actually think that the Plague Company detachment might just be the best one. Yeah, you want to see Inky? Inky, you want to come say hi to chat? Oh, there she is. Look at the kitty. She's like, please just let me snuggle. I just want to snuggle, Trevi. So don't stop doing this. Yeah, we can take a peek at Flybone real quick before we hop off. Let me pull it up. Whoop. Flyblown host. So 6-inch, 5-inch scout and stealth. Obviously, stealth is going to be big because it lets you more readily lock into +1 EP as your contagion all the time. It's very, very in the contextualizing it in a universe where you get both this ability and the contagions makes it really strong. I'm really glad that it no longer stacks the weapon skill penalty alongside stealth, because I think that would have been really gross if that's how it worked. If you just had like permanent Cloud of Flies all the time. You can give your infantry assault, which is kind of whatever. I mean, it's good. Insectile Murmuration gives you a unit within contagion range. I wonder if that will be changed to, say, an afflicted unit. Roll wound roll of 1, but which you don't really need because we have wound rolls everywhere anyway. So I guess it's fine. Rejuvenating Swarm, I think, is cute on. It's really cute on the new Lord of Contagion, actually, because he regenerates at 3 and then he just heals back to full. Oh man, that's super good, actually. Although I think he may have to heal back to full. If your opponent kills them on their turn, he heals back to full on the subsequent turn. So if they charge him, I think they can still kill him, potentially. Oh, no, unless he can regenerate in the fight phase. I think he regenerates in the fight phase, probably. And then we have another one of the A2 Plague Veil things. We saw this get played on just the little dude, the Tallyman, a lot to keep him safe from indirect fire, which I think I kind of like. We get start of the fight phase battle shock. Just everything's got it now. They're like, listen, if we reprint this ability a million times, eventually someone will play it. 6-inch Piling Consolidate is phenomenal. Eye of the Swarm gives you pistol, which is phenomenal. Droning Horror gives you reroll hit rolls, which is good. Enervating Onslaught does mortals on a 4-up, which is good. Mephitic Invigoration gives you Transhuman. Oh yeah, with the Blight Haulers nearby. The Blight Haulers are better now, so that's a buff. As long as you play them kind of aggressively, which I think is fine. You oftentimes are going to be like, you're going to put a bunch of Poxwalkers in the middle and then scout them to do obnoxious things. I think you still play transport stuff, even though it doesn't get scout. I think that's fine. The Death Guard infantry getting its stealth is awesome. So Plague Marines just hopping out and getting stealth is really good. And then you play like 3 Rhinos full of Plague Marines. They can get like the reroll hits ability. And then a couple of like Blood Haulers, and then I don't know, maybe some Terminators or whatever. Yeah, this feels pretty good. I don't know if it's quite as it's probably maybe on par with the Plague Company detachment. It feels like. That's kind of where I'm feeling about it. Inky, the Shadow Legion, indeed, for sure. Yeah, the attachment loves haulers are getting better, definitely. Oh, if you are a fan of like shock transports, which is kind of an archetype I really like. I think they're really broken and don't really like it when they're good, but man, it does I do think it's cool. This definitely feels like the army for you. The fire support Rhino is it's a real deal for sure. Was Mortarion improved? He was kind of like, he's different now. His output's better, but he has like a totally new ability. His ability is like a bunch of reactive effects, essentially. There's a lot of like reactive shoot, reactive fight stuff, but he doesn't give you like buff auras anymore. He's a little bit more of a solo guy, I think. Like he lost his reroll once to wound, he lost his ignore modifiers, but he hits harder and he can do like weird reactive plays. So I don't know. I would say he probably side graded. He doesn't feel better to me. He just feels different. Use case for Plague Marines and Chaos Space Marines? No. They don't do anything, right? I think Plague Marines actually become literally useless in Chaos Space Marines. Because your army ability has to be Death Guard to afflict things, right? Yeah. So the Nurgle's gift ability isn't active if you're not Death Guard, so affliction doesn't do anything. So like Plague Marines are just dudes with guns. Like they're T6, I guess. But they don't get cool rhinos. They don't get toughness reduction. They just have guns, I guess. Like I don't know. They feel really bad in Chaos Space Marines, to be honest. Bio detachment makes Plague Marines toughness 7. I guess that's good. Yeah, I guess they saw play in Bile for a little bit, right? I guess you could run them. Are we gonna spend time on Plague Marines, or are we gonna take Chad Havocs, not Havocs, Noise Marines though? You know, I imagine that this Plagueburst datasheet is more expensive than the current one, because right now they're like 16 points a model. What's a Plagueburst right now? I feel like I'm foreseeing a 20 plus points point per model currently. Yeah, so they're 18 a model right now. This feels like a 21 ppm unit to me. And so, like, are we paying 100 plus points for like these 5 guys with the Meltagun, or are we gonna buy like awesome? We're gonna spend a couple more points, so we're gonna get like sick, like anti everything shooting. Probably settle at 90 to 95. I would be shocked if they were similar in cost to the current version, because their stats strictly improved and their ability strictly improved, and their army support strictly improved. Like I would be surprised if they remain at 18. I think they're probably going to go to 21 or 20 or something. Like 100 points for the 5 is like feels like pretty reasonable to me. Or the Death Guard Rhino is like just crazy. But also it could be that they get a different value in Chaos Space Marines actually. So we could see that because they don't get Nurgle's Gift, we could see that they actually are cheaper in Chaos Space Marines to make up for the fact that they don't really do anything besides just have a brick of stats. But this Rhino, if this Rhino comes in at sub 90, I'm gonna be a little livid. Because the EC one is 85, right? And like, you want to compare fire support to assault transport? Like, come on, dude. The basic bitch one is 75. Oh no, the EC one is 80. So this one's gonna be like minimum 85, I think. And if they upcharge the Rhino quite a bit, that can be a way to like make the Plague Marines more indirectly more expensive in Death Guard without making them like super cheap, or it's like super expensive by themselves. Yeah, their ability does literally nothing in Chaos Space Marines. It afflicts the enemy unit, but affliction doesn't do anything, because affliction requires that you have the Nurgle's Gift ability active, because affliction is a component of Nurgle's Gift. That would be like unspeakable in Chaos Space Marines. If you just had like a -1 toughness, like right on the like on your like on a stick for like 100 points or whatever, like that'd be crazy good. It's like a great unclean one for less than like a third, basically a third of the cost. You just have it. But yeah, you have to have the Nurgle's Gift ability. Oh, they could FAQ it otherwise, in fairness. And say that like affliction is its own thing, but to my reading, it looks like all of this stuff is under the umbrella of Nurgle's Gift, which means that like you don't have this section if you're not Death Guard. There's no way Blightlords and Deathshroud stay anywhere near their current points. Yeah, for sure. No way. Like Blightlord Terminators are like 29 points or something like that. That would be wild. We go through Flybone Host more? I don't know what else we need to talk about it. Love 155 man, 5-man, 155 point 5-man Blightlords deleting infantry. Oh, yeah, they're 31 points currently. Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah. So Blightlords currently are Yeah, 31 points per model, and Deathshroud are closer to 40. Deathshroud are 36-ish. Definitely would expect them, like, Deathshroud to be closer to like 45. Blightlord's certainly more expensive. Yeah, so Deathshroud got like, they got slightly, they side graded their defensive stuff. They lost +1 to wound, but they gained like a toughness and a wound. So they are actually, I think, on the whole, more difficult to kill. And then their character attachments got like way, way, way better. But that could just be something that they do with the character points values. Oh, and they got the 6-inch deep strike. Actually, they got the 6-inch deep strike thing, which is like strict upgrade. So I think their data sheet on the whole is actually like dramatically better than it was. Yeah. So they would have to go up for sure. Well, I think you're going to put a character in them anyway, to be honest. Like, yeah, these guys seem so, like, they're designed to, they feel effectively designed around Lords of Contagion. I feel like you want them as an LOC delivery system. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just play them with themselves. But like, their output's actually really mediocre if you don't have a dude leading them. So we'll see. Definitely see Blightlords going to 180 like other Terminators. Yeah, like 36 points per model just around. Yeah, Blightlords. I'd be curious to see where they end up. Because they do feel like they really need a character attachment. And they feel like they need some setup. But it feels like once they do it, like they're a big tank, a big damage sponge that also like shoots super well and punches well. So they're just like, They might have actually found a way to make the Blightlord, the Terminator, the classic Terminator profile good, and the answer is just to give it a character who like literally like quadruples its damage output. Turns out when you give them a bunch of really good weapons and also full rerolls, it's pretty solid. I think. Whoa, wild. Yeah, these guys. I don't know. Blightlord Terminators are probably gonna be okay if they come in at really cheap. Blightlord Terminators might be super good. Because you can just their capacity to blow things up is basically independent of the rest of the army. As long as they can get you into a contagion range to get the affliction, they'll just kill you, right? Like the potential damage from a unit with a Lord of Virulence is like astronomical. So if that unit is also economical, it gets a little crazy. Death Guard Helbrute with Plasma and Fist. Do you take Plasma or do you take... I mean, Plasma is good for long range, but you could also take Melta. +1 to wound Melta feels so good. Like, it's probably AP... It's basically like it's almost a Brigand. It's like AP 5, and it's almost, in some cases, +2 to wound. If you're T9 or T10, it's +2 to wound, +1 AP. Because your toughness is being reduced. Like, that guy feels like just such a horrible nightmare. Obviously, it's a long range thing, but if you're taking melee also, it feels like you are okay with getting up close and personal. Plus, you could take a heavy flamer that is +1 to wound as well, which is like also seems extremely strong. I wish you could get. I wish you could get Like 2 heavy flamers and 2 fists. Oh, I guess, could you take 2 fists? No, you can't take 2. Oh, you can. You could take 2 fists with 2 heavy flamers. Maybe that's the way to go. Like 2d6 with +1 wound? Maybe you just take a big gun. Big gun's pretty good. Death Guard Brute's Hammer has a 3+ weapon skill? Oh shit, it does! Get wrecked, World Eaters. Are you kidding me? Why? That's dumb. But you'd have to take the hammer. Yeah, I guess you could take the hammer instead of the fist. You lose the flamer. But the higher attack volume's like kind of okay. I don't know. There's definitely there's for sure an optimal loadout with this guy, but it definitely feels like there's a lot of interesting play you could do. Hammer and fist, that's how I would play the Helbrute, the World Eater's Helbrute for sure. This one, I feel like you want a gun. I feel like you want the gun for sure. Yeah, I also am surprised at the Helbrute. Well, honestly, like only a couple things in this codex feel like real misses. Like Predators, whatever. Predators are who cares? Like I think this Predator profile is good, but I don't know if I'm excited about that ability. The Plagueburst Crawler feels like it's kind of like not really doing anything. But like almost everything else feels good, right? Like, I can't pinpoint any... I would say, not individual models. Like, the Wings Demon Prince is, like, fucking kind of worthless. And, like, the Icon Bearer is stupid. But, those aren't, like, kind of, like, independent unit archetypes, I guess. Like, you just take the Foot Demon Prince. But, like, everything else feels like it has a role. Maybe the Land Raider. But it's because they never changed the Assault Ramp ability. They need to, at some point, add new abilities to Land Raiders. They all should have Assault Ramp, but also they should get into the habit of giving them an additional ability, I think. Because like it feels weird that only the World Eater's Land Raider is like the only unique one. This one's just a dude. Light Haulers are strictly better versus Predators. They certainly do kill the shit out of a Predator if you give them the opportunity. But also this fucking guy. I don't know. They found a way to make a Defiler independently powerful. That's crazy. It might be that like... I don't know. Do you want this guy like... Basically, the comparison between this dude and a Predator Destructor... Assuming that they're the same points cost, which they almost certainly won't be. The Plagueburst Prowler is probably going to be like 20 or 30 points more. Is that instead of the Predator's top gun is not indirect, but gets +2 strength and +1 damage. And their attack volume is basically the same unless you're blasting. It's like Pintle Gun isn't quite as good, and then their side guns are basically a side grade from each other. So all you lose is a resilience, in exchange for higher damage output, which feels okay to me. I don't know. Oh, hi, kitty. I don't know, chat. We'll figure it out. I think a lot of it's points dependent. If this guy comes in at a not unreasonable upcharge over a Predator, then I think he'll be good. But if it's the same like points breakdown as they are right now, because I think this guy's like 35 points more than a Predator. He's 160? He is 180. Jesus Christ. Versus a Destructor that's 135, 140. He's 40 points more? Ew. I would not pay 40 points more for this profile over this profile. Maybe I'm crazy. But Or not that one, this one. Maybe I'm a crazy guy, but that's 40 points that could go a long way. If their values are similar, the Plagueburst Crawler is like a 20-point upsell, then like sure. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, chat, I'm excited to see how things shake out. I do hope that this faction is a little elite oriented. It does feel it feels a little on the nose. Like a lot of the combos are just there, right? You just do the thing and then you kill the guy in front of you. But I do think that on first glance, it's like, wow, this damage output's phenomenal. But it's almost entirely only phenomenal if it's 12 inches away from you. So it's not going to kill you on like from a million miles away on turn 1. It's not particularly fast. Like the Rhino Rush lists are going to be as fast as Rhinos are, which is like, you know, normal speed. It's like as fast as anyone else. I guess I'm like a little bit worried that it is going to be fairly fast and high damage and like up above average level of resilience, but we will see. And I think if they get costed appropriately, it's just going to be this real shock troop army, which it feels very appropriate, where they just like they stage and then they come in and like Plague Marines dump out and just fucking kill you, and you're like, ow, that hurt. But also that unit was 450 points, so maybe it's fine, and then you kill them. So I feel like that's probably where it's going to end up being. Obviously, there's like the danger that they just like don't change any of the points values, and it's where everyone's just getting overwhelmed by Terminators for a while. What's up, kitty? This cat's so cute. But we'll see. I don't know. She'll shoot an 18-inch loan op Death Guard unit and not get charged. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna 18-inch loan op and rapid ingress 18 inches away from you. Oh, I'm too far away to charge you. Oh, now I'm sad. That's funny stuff. 34 Terminators in current Death Guard with room for more. Currently doesn't feel elite. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they'll almost assuredly go up in cost, but we'll see. I do understand that in the comparison between the two codexes, World Eaters does not look as strong as Death Guard appear. I think that is likely. I think a lot of it's that the power of Death Guard is like kind of just on the board, right? You're like, hey, you get a bunch of stat debuffs and I'm hit really hard, so fuck you. You're like, okay, well that's pretty good. And I think that the World Eaters Codex is going to require a lot more smart play. But also, just consider, World Eaters players, just think for a moment. Oh, that Plague Marion's going to bail out. And it sure is going to kill my Corn Berserkers. Maybe it's going to kill their Rhino. And then they're going to have to hop out. And then maybe get shot a little bit and do a Blood Surge. And then my Forge Fiend with full hit rerolls and rapid fire is going to kill 10 Plague Marines. Woo! Like, I don't think it's entirely one-sided, you know? And I'd certainly think that it looks to be like World Eaters are going to be much hoardier than Death Guard are, assuming that the points come sort of come out appropriately. So you're probably going to outnumber them, which I think will certainly help quite a bit. But anyway, I'm excited to see when the Codex is actually released. I think it's going to be a big shakeup, which is going to be cool. And from what you read of the new Codex, it's a lot of side nerfs. The new Death Guard Codex, I think it is stronger than Index Death Guard for sure. Like on paper, right? Points unseen, I think it is just a strict upgrade. A lot of the individual abilities side graded, but the numbers of the units that they were on, like, all increased. Everyone got more toughness. Everyone got more speed. A bunch of stuff got more attacks. Everybody got multiple contagions. Everybody got, more internal synergy. We got fire support. We got ignore cover. We got all this stuff. But that's going to come with some down. We think Thousand Suns and Space Walls are going to be a dual release. I wouldn't be surprised. They are classic enemies. So that they might do a boxed set or whatever. They love doing boxed sets. So anyway, chat, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. I think let me take a peek at my messages real quick, which I haven't looked at in 4 hours. I think I have a game that is likely to be scheduled at some point in the not too distant future. And I don't know when it's gonna be, so we'll find out at some point. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I don't think I'm going to be live today on Twitch, but might be live over the weekend, depending on what kind of games we have to see. Obviously, my stream this weekend got scheduled. I had to take my car back to this mechanic shop today, so I still am carless again. Oh yeah, it won't be 6 hours. We're going to put clocks down, I think, next time. Baby kitty. Inky wants snuggles so bad right now, chat. Anyway, cheers everyone. Keep it classy, folks. Have happy wargaming. And I'll see you in the next one.